break it? I think I did. Okay, that'd be fine. All right, let's see. Let's see if this works. H1. Okay. Hello. I can see it in your eyes. I can see it in your smile. What up, Iskander? What up, Braxton? Hold on, I'm trying to set this up real quick. It's gonna be one more second. Bang, bang. This needs to go away. Click, stop, click, remove source, auto activate, find auto activate. What's up? What up, totes? Totes the goats. All right, that works. That works. All right. There we go. There we go. All right. Okay. One more thing now. Oh, hopefully that works. Let's see. It'll probably work. Oh, I think I broke it again too. Reload. There we go. I can see it in your eyes. I can see it in your smile. Just popped in my head. Sometimes I gotta sing. Yeah. It was a song lyric from not Billy Joel. He was in the Commodores. Lionel Richie. Everyone like and subscribe. We've only been here a minute 42 seconds. Let's get it going. Let's get it going. Bam! I fell for it. What do you think it was? I can see through your camera. All right. I missed something also. Hold on. Where was I? Oh, come on. All right. Let me do this. All right. That'll do there. Okay. Hold on. Yeah. 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 Copy. 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 Paste, enter, all right. So yeah, if anybody's got Twitch, I'm on. It's streaming to dual streaming to Twitch right now too. I could use the you can see the chat over there too, the YouTube chat. So if anyone's got Twitch, I would appreciate the follow. I just need a couple of days to get my numbers up. What's up, you guys? Whatever you want to do, whatever you want, and it's full screen. It's 1080 1080 980 by 10. It's 16 by 9 rather than 9 by 16. It's not, you know what I mean. You know what I mean, probably. Maybe not. I don't even know what I mean. Let me make sure this works here. And okay, then this. Let's make sure this works. That works. Okay, let's make sure this works. Properties. Okay, done. All right, there we go. All right, how's everybody doing? All right, let's check Twitch stream. All right, we up and running. All right. All right. Okay, cool. All right, we got it mapped. We got it happening. How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing? Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Let's see. I got a message. Sorry. Looking at my things. Okay, what are we up to tonight? Let's see if we can find anything. YouTube. I could probably do this. Welcome back. Welcome back. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to do this. I can see it in your eyes. Pause. Pause. Share. This YouTube send. Twitch TV / 110th. HTTPS colon slash semicolon// Almost got it. Almost got it. HTTP. All right, here we go. All right. What's going on, Brett? I am not visible. Am I visible, Richard? YouTube's room. Yeah, you're visible. Yeah, you're visible. I don't know what. Yeah, I don't know why. We're not moderating you. If YouTube's moderating it, Freddie, are you on the Discord? If there's something you can't, I mean, if you got Discord, you can click the link. Did I pin it? Um, yeah, if there's something you can post it in the Discord if there's something you want to talk about that or self censor, I guess, you know. But yeah, you're up there. You're here. It's going good, going good, going good. Yeah, I've got zero moderation on. I can. Yeah. I would walk 500 miles and I would walk 500 more to beat them. Oh, that was the Replacements. No, yeah, that was the Pretenders, right? I would walk 500 miles. Yeah, Proclaimers. Oh, wait a second. Pretenders. The Pretenders. No. You mean the Proclaimers? Wrong one. What up, Magic Mama? No, wrong one. Huh? It's not even coming up with Google. I put in the Pretenders, and this is the first thing that comes up. Brass in Pocket. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Chrissy Hines, the Pretenders. Yeah, absolutely, sure. Why didn't that pop up before? That's crazy. They must not like her. They must not like her for some reason. She must be a Firestone High School. I was never interested in high school. I mean, I never went to a dance. I never went out on a date. Never went steady. It became pretty awful for me. So of course, I could go see bands, and that was my kick. Yeah, Sex Pistols, Johnny Rotten. Marry her to get a work permit. What? At one point, she tried to convince Steve Jones and Johnny Rotten of the Sex Pistols to marry her to get a work permit. How you doing, Magic Mama? Did that get sent? Let me make sure here. YouTube. I would walk 500 more. YouTube. Okay, there we go. I love you too. I love you too. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for being here. What do you know about the Black Panther Party? I know a good amount about them. I don't know about the current iterations of the Black Panther Party, but I know for sure that there's a bunch of people that aren't Black Panthers that are proclaiming to be Black Panthers for like in the propaganda cycle. But I know pretty good amount about the attacks back in the day, about the explosive Jamalo back in the day. I found a really cool advertisement. All right. All right.
Fucked? Are your tires fucked? Maybe your trailer's fucked. Maybe your hoses are fucked. Your truck's fucked, your tires are fucked, your trailer's fucked, your hoses are fucked. So get with us here at Robinson Truck and Trailer Repair and we can help with all your fucked up shit. You can call us at 515-726-9144. Is your truck fucked? Are your tires fucked? Maybe your trailer's fucked. Maybe your hoses are fucked. Your truck's fucked, your tires are fucked.
The 166,000 likes in 12 hours. That's yeah. It says here there's hope for this generation. That's so awesome. That's gonna be. They're gonna do great. They're gonna do great. Yeah, that's funny. That's funny. That company's gonna do just fine. I think people are so tired of all the fake crap, fake everything, fake, and they're just saying, look, if you're tired, effed, let's do it. Not, oh, you have, you might hurt people on the road that care about, like, no, they're just saying, this is it, straight up, plain and simple. This is the deal. Your hoses, I like that. We're going to watch it one more time. I'm getting a kick out of this. Oops, sorry. There we go. Where did I go? Ah, stop. Oh, oops.
Your trailer's fucked. Your hoses are fucked. So get with us here at Robinson Truck and Trailer Repair, and we can help with all your fucked up shit. You can call us at 515-726-9144. Is your truck?
Love it. I love it. Yeah, so far, yeah, that's the best. That's Super Bowl quality advertisement right there. That's straight and honest. Absolutely. Dude, they're going to sell 1 million of those t-shirts. They should remake one that says your truck's effed.
Fucked? Are your tires fucked? Maybe your trailer's fucked. Maybe your hoses are fucked. Your truck's fucked. Your tires are fucked. Your trailer's fucked. Your hoses are fucked. So get with us here at Robinson Truck and Trailer Repair, and we can help with all your fucked up shit. You can call us at 515-726-9144.
I love it. I love it. Their dad is definitely a mechanic. These two guys worked with my Camaro back in '82. That car was running like a charm after that. The kid on the right's got 50 years experience. Chip, I'm all jacked up on Mountain Dew. I would trust these fine gentlemen with my life. They don't give up. That's exactly right. Best ad I've ever seen. Jeez, that's crazy. If I had a truck and trailer, I'd definitely send it to you guys. This might be the single greatest ad ever created. 10 years old, 30 years old, 30 years experience. Now this is advertising. Walker, Texas Ranger. You guys are gonna love beer. I don't even have a truck, but I'm gonna let these guys work on it. Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Everything's effed. That's right. Right. Your truck's definitely effed. Oh no, they got a bunch of them.
Truckers, are your tires bald and your wife just called? Here at Robinson Truck and Trailer Repair, we can do anything from tire calls to overhauls. Give us a jingle if you don't want to be single like me. You guys can call us at 515-726. Hey, Bryant, I just got 6 DOT jobs to do. And preventative maintenance. Don't forget, guys, if you have anything you guys need to do, here at Robinson Truck and Trailer, we can do it. From mobile service to shop service or towing. You guys can give us a call here at 515-726-9144.
Yeah, they're going to be just fine. They're going to be just fine. They're going to be just fine. That's so awesome.
Don't forget, we have a heavy-duty wrecker, a rollback, a step deck trailer, and a landau. And we can help you with your equipment moving needs and your commercial truck and trailer towing and winching. Get with us here at Robinson Truck and Trailer Repair, and we'll get you an estimate. Get hooked with Robinson. You guys can call us at 515.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm really happy to see that stuff. That's so good. Like everything else, like you see so clean and fake for corporate stuff. Everybody's like shirts tucked in and everything's not a speck of grease dirt under their fingernails, and they'll tell you about how the corporate environment here is great. Our employees get 30 days off a year and blah blah blah. No. We don't get a day off. This is it. We're here for you whenever you need us. Yeah, that's awesome. I enjoy that. Most human advertisement. I agree. Andrew Dice Clay. Yeah, he was great. I think I met him before. I was definitely in the same room with him. I can't remember if we ever actually met. I was hammered. Click. Oh yeah, there you go. All right, hold on.
Smokestacks! Get a flamethrower!
That's not AI.
Good as new.
Good as new.
Smokestacks!
Hickory dickory dock. Yes, how are you, Pop? I do remember you. I do. How are you? How are you, my friend? Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Oh, do I have one there? Nope. Nope. Hold on. CFD. All right, my brother. CFD it is. I'm doing good. Been a very good day. I had a really good stream earlier. I think we had like almost 1,000 people come through. Let's take a look. Let's see where we were at earlier. Let's see. It was a good stream earlier, without a doubt. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. No, it was good. It was a good one. It was a good one. Let's see if we do ST Studio content. Oh, there you go. There it is, right there. 1,300 people, 1,200 people. Only got 45 likes. Hit the like button. It was hard to find me. Hit the freaking dingle bell thing. The this thing here. I don't even know where it's at actually. Here's the thing. Yeah, never mind. I don't even know where it's at. Never mind. Don't know what I'm talking about. Welcome back, Paul. Well, I remember when elementary schools were up in arms over Bart Simpson shirts like yours. Yes, sir. Yes, yes, yes. Absolutely. So you're on the same age as me. I'm 1977. Hickory dickory dock. Are you tired, son? Next, they're doing a moon orbit next month. I remember you saying something the other day about a February launch or something like that. And you, I did it as soon as I. Okay. Thank you. Hit that dingleberries. Yeah, tap twice. Yeah, you know what? Let me see. I don't think I've ever done that before. Like I know I've tried. I have to do it 3 times unless my clicker's off. 1970. Okay, yeah. So yeah, you're same vintage as me. You're the same vintage. Half. Here we go. 12% of the ocean explored. Let's go to Mars. Right. I don't even think it's 12. I think 12% has been explored by like machine and camera, but only 5%. I'm pretty sure only 5% we've actually been to. But yeah, agreed. And why do you think that is? Why do you think that is? They're saying, hey, let's put our money into something else because there's something else that, yeah, it's absolutely look over here. And think financially. You can't send up communications from under the water like you can satellites. You know what I mean? What did you have for breakfast? Hold on one second. Let me do this. How much of the ocean have we explored? Okay. So this says here, this says about 5% of the world oceans has been directly explored by humans, with less than 10% mapped using high-resolution sonar. So leaving 95 to 80%, depending on. Yeah, right. I agree. Okay, so what I had for breakfast, I don't eat breakfast. So at around 1 o'clock, I had scrambled eggs, and then I had chili about 2 o'clock, chili and crackers. Then I had a pack of graham crackers, cinnamon graham crackers dipped in milk. Then I had chicken and rice soup, basically, that we made yesterday with chicken, rice, onions, shredded carrots. It's good. If my phone if it doesn't work on my phone, just my tablet. Oh, it doesn't work on your phone, just your tablet. Space travel. Yeah, we're going to. We'll take a look at that in a second. We'll take a look at the thing he's talking about. Yeah, Katy Perry. You more a Soldier Boy or Gucci Man type of guy, brother? I don't really like either one of them very, very much. Not either one very much. What up, Gulk Tube? All right, let's look. The global warming, sea levels rising. Yep. Freddie Faber, what up, ADHD, bro? Welcome back, brother. Paul Blart, looking up image of big effing squid. Yeah, we can look that up too. Let's look up. What's up, Honeybee? Welcome back. Yeah, it's all good. It's all like the eggs come right out of the freaking chickens in my backyard, right? Yeah. Fast. Yes, I fast. I don't eat. I don't usually eat till like 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It's the best, one of the best things I've done for myself ever. I don't have the 2 o'clock. Oh, I want to fall asleep. Man, none of that. I've got energy like this throughout the day. People ask if I'm on drugs all the time. Off to Ukraine front lines tomorrow. Please pray for me, even if you don't believe. Stay blessed. All right, Colt, brother. You got it, my bro. You got it, my friend. Stay safe. As safe as you can. What up, my brother? What up, Jama Mama? What on? Yeah, yes, it's one of the best things you can do for yourself. When you start to look into propaganda and you realize that breakfast being the most important meal of the day was an advertising campaign to sell more stuff. It had nothing to do with health. It had nothing to do with anything like that. It had to do with they wanted to make more money, and if they could convince us to eat 3 times a day instead of 2, they can make a third more money. 16:8, yeah, is basically I will continue to do that. Yes, absolutely. Yes. What's your favorite movie show? I don't really. 110th grade. I don't watch anything. I don't have a television in my room. I don't. I like if a girl comes over or family comes over and they want to watch something, we'll watch something. But usually like we watch shows. Like when my brother and sister, my parents all come get together, we'll watch like a Doctor Who, like telethon, not telethon, what are they called? Marathon, yeah. They got big squid alien. Big, yes, absolutely. Autophagy. Do you Aries? Breakfast is for wimps. Yeah, I definitely don't. Definitely. Oh, the Russian guy was referring to. Oh, Freddy Fazbear. Okay, hold on. Let's look at. Okay, about the what you call February's moon orbit. Okay, here we go. Let's see. NASA's Artemis 2 mission, first crewed flight to the moon in 50 years, is scheduled as February 6, 2026 from Kennedy Space Center in Florida. The 10-day mission will send 4 astronauts around the moon and back. Backup launch windows are February, March, and early April. That's crazy. You don't have a TV, the plasma screen with the silk pillowcases in the mirror, and you're dealing for them women. No, I don't deal with that. I don't deal with none of that stuff, dude. You know the rookie do you know the rookie? Oh yeah, no, absolutely great. Yeah, there's lots of great. I've seen lots of great movies, lots of old movies. The Rookie, great movie. No, absolutely, yeah, that was a great movie. My favorites, I mean, I like really like prop heavy stuff, like the Swiss Family Robinson or Robinson's Family Adventure, or whatever stuff like that, where they built all kinds of. I like stuff like that, even though it's like I worked on Jungle Cruise. Breakfast is definitely for whims. Breakfast for lunch, though. Yeah, no, not breakfast food. Right. Breakfast time. Right. Yeah. I'm Turkish. Oh, my bad, bro. I'm not Russian. Last time someone mooned you, I had a chick moon me the other day. They drove by me. I was actually streaming when I dropped Catherine off at the airport. And I was on my way back. I don't know if they were on the stream. There was like almost 1,000 people through the chat. I think there was almost like 2,000 in the whole chat, in the whole thing. But they drove past. They drove past me. Then they slowed down and they kept waving. And then I was trying to find out. Like I was talking to the stream, so I couldn't like be like, hey, what's going on? But I was like, I think they're watching the stream. And then I got mooned. What are you speaking? Cyrillic? Russian memery. You active? What's the best move? What's no? So I'm retired. I'm retired. Last year, January was my last movie. Gordon Bennett. I love to learn foreign languages and their culture. Me too. I'm a big fan. International YouTube community is lit. 100%. It's the best thing. It's absolutely awesome. Lamb hasn't seen Scarface. Wow. I don't need to watch it. I've lived it. Yeah, that's why I'm here. Yeah, brother. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. In Ghosta Appendazara idiomas same way. Yes, The Rookie. Yeah. The Rookie's a great movie. I was streaming while videoing on my phone 2-bit and had a Tenerife, Western Africa. Lamb has seen it. Bumba Club. Hold on. So let's see here. Let's see if we can find squid. Deep sea squid. Man, yeah, these things are freaking creepy. Look at this. Absolutely crazy. Like, these things look like cartoons. And then these things look like you're not coming back home. Like, these crazy, huge things. Those long. Yes, sir. Altordobium. Goodfellas. Yeah. Goodfellas. Goodfellas is good. Yeah, big effing squid. Ross Glad. Nobody has more famous stream than R. More famous stream than R. Kelly. Did you erase me? No, you're on there. No, I didn't erase nothing. It's no, absolutely, you're on there. Look up big fin. I thought you were saying big effin. Gotcha. Jeez. Yeah, this is absolutely crazy, dude. These things are nuts. Look at these crazy things. Dude, like freaking yeah, that's absolutely crazy. Would you survive Waterworld? I would absolutely survive. With this nose, I can hold like an hour's worth of air in it. Do you believe one day you'll go viral and become super famous? If it, yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I've gotten almost 1,000 subscribers in the past month, like since New Year's, and it's only I'm getting more and more and more. Like I just got 20 more last stream, and I don't know about like straight like viral for something stupid like Subway surfing or anything like that. But I think I'll get to the point where I think I've got a lot to offer. Like I'm not a brain rot channel. I mean, we still do the memes and fart jokes and stuff, but I also teach a lot and I learn a lot. So I want people involved in the community, and I remember people really well, and I think people appreciate that because I think mostly people just want other people to know that they exist, and this is a community where that happens regularly. Like that, I try to read and put every comment on the screen, and on the Twitch side, I've got the full chat on the screen. So yeah, I think I think it'll get there. No way you speak Jamaican. Jamaican. I couldn't finish Waterworld. 3 long hours. Yeah, it was rough. Now you're the best. Hey, brother, we got only a phrase here and there with my fiance. Her family is Jamaican. Out of all the 3 hour, it was pretty good, and the prop work was good. The film is like I was in the movie industry for 15 years. I did a lot of props, did a lot of underwater props and stuff. It's amazing to see how they do it. Yeah, you need some fart jokes every once in a while. Oh right, I show speed. I can flip between lowbrow and highbrow, and you have to be able to. It's real life. I think people are tired of fake, absolutely fake people. Like, look, we all poop, we all pee, we all burp and fart, and we all like to love and learn and that's the thing. And I want to be able to do. I went viral off the Tinder app. Boner kebab. Yeah, that was funny. 20 feet long. Yes, these guys here. Yeah, that's freaking crazy. I think they're longer than that. I think it's 20 meters, like 60 feet. Someone say brain rot. Give me a moment. I shave my low brow. Yeah, and so by doing and I have streams with like this last stream um was 1,200 people, and sometimes there's 40 people, sometimes there's 12 people, and I'll stream no matter what. So I like to say that I consider myself like the bar online. Like you go to a bar, sometimes it's just you and the bartender, but I'm still open. Sometimes there's a freaking full party there and I'm still open. I'm open when I'm open and I'm closed when I'm closed. What about the girls though? They don't do any of those things, right? What no, no, absolutely not. No, girls don't. That's why they have Ami Ovstan Likli Panish as well man Agora and Foucault pela Portuguese as Francis. Jeez. Use emojis is so brain rot. Hey, listen. We all will find some brain rot and giggle at it, but I'm not going to be like for like freaking 4 hours straight. You know, I mean, yeah, overusing good stuff. No problem. Wild that me respect. With that me respect, yeah. Honestly, you see, Tony, one love, but more than one shot in your yard. Nagaris and Daily Ting, me Miss G, me message DPM, Andrew Kalma Rasclat. Harley Quinn baby. Let's take a look at it. I'm sorry, I'm tired of going to sleep. Go to sleep. That's all right, my brother. I'm here every day. I'm glad Zara shared your channel. Hey, me too. She's great. Welcome to the real deal. For real. Good night, CFD. All right, what was I looking for? I was looking for Harley Quinn baby. Oops. Harley Quinn baby. Oh, jeez. I don't know which one you're talking about. What's going on? But this one, is this the one you're talking about? Oh, man. Oh, no, dude. Oh, dude. Oh, man. Jeez. Good night, my brethren. Rich, UK, what? I'm all about it. I'm all like, big up yourself. Enough respect, you tour. If something amuses or interests me, and it's regarding where it is in my experience. So, right. People keep acting so like, and it's the politics. It's people. No, they know that sometimes they're conservative, sometimes they're liberal, and they push themselves to be like, no, I'm the god of liberal, I'm the god of conservative. No, you're not. You're a real human being, and things change. When you have children, things change. When it changes, and you have to, yeah. So, yeah, and I understand it. And if you have some good arguments for Republicans or Democrats, we could talk about all of them. And I'm not going to be like, stupid. I mean, if you keep lying, then yeah. But that's the thing. Like, I'm just tired of liars. Yeah, it's all right. We all need to eat, my brethren. Yeah, too many languages. Let's add English here. Hey, no problem. No. I want to learn everything, Freddie. Zero. I love politics. It's all real. Right. Yeah, I don't like politics either. If you don't change, you probably stink. Yep. I agree. And that's with everything in life. The reason we have problems are to the propaganda arm. Let's add up the Turkish language. Add it up. Everybody's utopia is different. Right. And we can talk about it. What is your utopia? No, you're stupid. You're so dumb. You didn't go to college. Who talks about politics seriously? They think they're intelligent. The problem is people that aren't truly intelligent who act like they are, and they feel bad when they get proven wrong, or they realize they're in over their head, and then they just start swinging. If I can get some land in the tropics and food production going, I'm set for life. Dude, it's not as difficult as you would think it is. Simple life is paradise. I'm right there for you. Czechoslovakia, Hamadik Larmidza Misin Kasnayamiska. It's Surfeats. Your mom goes to college. Napoleon Dynamite. Iran. Yep, that's dude. What's really happening, dude? If you look at their propaganda, it's so crazy, dude. I looked at a bunch of it today. I'm not a smart man. I'm a total moron. Right, but the thing, it's important to know that you have room to learn. You're not a total moron for life. You're only a moron right now. You know what I mean? And people act like today's forever. It's not. And you can watch people grow. But people are like, no, I'm gonna cut off my grandparents because he voted for Kamala. My grandfather voted for, no, that's absolutely crazy. That's your grandparents. Checkmate. Do you know about pulsar? Yes, very familiar with pulsar stars. They're very fast spinning stars that are putting out a array of neutrons, I believe. That's a neutron star. pulsar stars is I can't remember what they're pulsing, but they're spinning. We'll show a picture of them. Let me get caught up real quick. You're smarter. The smarter you are, the more you're aware of your stupidity. Right. Right. That's what it is. You know yourself. All these people out here that don't know themselves, and they're public about it. They're public about not knowing what they are, but someone tells them what they are and they believe it and they spend money on it and they get into communities and stuff about it, and that's the problem, because it's meant to keep you spending your money in one direction, and you should never do that. Sometimes I can't take instructions well from people. Sometimes you got to show it differently. That's exactly right. Some people shouldn't be taught in a school. I did very poor in school. I couldn't sit there and just listen to this stuff, especially if it was stuff I already knew or already understood. It was just like, can we please learn something different? But then I understood that there's 29 other kids in class that might not already understand things and get it. Dunning-Kruger is absolutely correct. That's absolutely right. Chewy, definitely. I don't take instructions from anyone except Lamb. It's a bit harsh. Pulsars are stars that are on the way out with powerful radiance. Yeah, well, let's look them up. Yes. Yeah, they're radiant and they're spinning very quickly. So the pulse that's coming out of, as the pulse sweeps by us, that stream sweeps by us, we represent it as a pulse. Okay. Pulsars, not all stars. Pulsars are okay. They are neutron stars. I was right. Okay. All right. A rapidly spinning neutrons. Okay. So neutron stars are neutron stars. Pulsars are spinning neutron stars. Right. Okay. Spinning neutron stars, incredibly dense remnants of massive stars that have exploded as supernova, and it compressed them. As the outside blows off, the inside compresses together. Magnetic pulses. These beams sweep across space. When they point towards Earth, we observe them as regular pulses, similar to cosmic lighthouse, with periods ranging from milliseconds to seconds. Can you imagine a freaking planet or star spinning so fast that every millisecond is like... Their precise timing makes them good at cosmic clocks. They test relativity, search for gravitational waves, and discover exoplanets. All right.
Pulsars are what's left over.
Come on, almost got it.
After a massive star, much bigger than our sun, collapses at the end of its
Vote for
lifetime.
Pedro. Taught at
So a
School
massive
of Hard
star,
Knocks.
maybe 10
Was that
times the size of the sun,
man,
or maybe even more, maybe even
autonomy
20
definitely
or
worked
30,
towards a goal.
will explode as a supernova, and the center of the star collapses to become a neutron star. As all the other material around it moves away at very, very high rates of speed
I agree.
from the supernova, the
Thank
star
you, Barbara.
itself, the neutron star, is spinning very, very rapidly. There's a magnetic field that was in the original star, 1 trillion times stronger than that on the Earth. That gets compressed.
We'll check.
And gets frozen into that surface of the neutron star. So now you have a strong spinning magnet, basically, in space. And that causes all sorts of radiation to be generated. What normally happens on most pulsars is you get radio waves that come out of the magnetic poles of the neutron star. And because these things are spinning, and because the magnetic poles don't happen to be aligned with the rotation axis, just like on Earth, if that beam of radio waves passes through our line of sight, we see pulsars.
Right, exactly, yes, right.
We call them pulsars.
That was so gross.
A normal pulsar that comes from a supernova will tend to last somewhere between 10 and 100 million years. Well, if you think about it, our universe is more than 10 billion years old, so if something lasts 10 to 100 million years, that's just a very short amount of time. When a star explodes, that pulsar spins for 10 or 100 million years and then is rotating too slow to cause that radiation to escape anymore, and basically it's just a long dead neutron star. But what happens is if that neutron star has a companion star, a star like our sun, for instance, eventually that star will turn into a red giant. And as it does, as it continues to orbit the neutron star, it transfers material in the form of a disk onto the neutron star.
Accretion disk.
And that transfer of material also transfers angular momentum, which means that you spin that star, the neutron star, faster and faster. So you end up getting a neutron star that spins very rapidly, up to the fastest one that we know, which we actually found with the Green Bank telescope, is spinning 716 times per second. That's faster than a kitchen blender spins, And then these things can last forever, because once you spin them that fast with a much smaller magnetic field, they'll last for billions of years rather than just tens of millions of years.
Right, because we've actually measured that. Right, okay. I didn't Google shit. Hey, you got it. All right, let's see. Yeah, brother, hey. I'm right there, but, you know, hold on, let's see. The brightest star we can see. All right, Sirius the dog star. Sirius, also known as the dog star, is the brightest star in Earth's night sky, located at Canis Major, shining with an apparent magnitude of negative 1.6, almost twice as bright as the brightest star, second brightest star, Canopus. Canopus, that's crazy. It's 8.6 light years fast. Okay, well, let's look at Sol. That's what I thought it was, too. Wow, this guy's name is Solstar. That's crazy. That's so crazy. Yeah, it's the name for the sun. So yeah, it's actually pretty dim. I thought it was the brightest star we could see. No, right? It's got to be from the night sky. That's got to be the brightest star we can see during the day. Absolutely, I have to agree with you. I mean, we're doing AI freaking overview, so I agree. Higher civilization can extract energy. That's correct. Right? It's theoretically right. Yes, the higher civilizations, type 1, type 2, type 3, type 4, anything above a type 1, I believe, or at a type 1 or above. We're not even at type 1 yet. The brightest star we can see is the sun. Right. Yeah. That's why I thought it was odd. I think that it took it as, this is the problem with AI, is that it doesn't exactly know what it's talking about. The brightest star we can see during the day is the sun. The brightest star we can see at night, when the sun's outside of the sky, outside of our view, outside of the horizon. Right. So it's right in the night sky. It's all with a slice of lime. Robert, what up, my brethren? I'm motivated back. I'm more motivated at work with the Vitamin. Brother, I'm telling you, my friend, I'm so glad you listened to me. I hope people continue to. It's dude, that's the vitamin D3. The B12 makes you start to feel better just about existing. And then the D3, we used to work in the sun all the time. We didn't have houses and whatnot. We were in the sun all the time. When sunlight hits your skin, soul, it creates D3. That's how it's created in our skin from sunlight, UV light. When you're not outside in the sun a lot, that level drops significantly, and that can cause big issues. Once you get going, you start to strive for stuff. After I got on vitamin D3, I was like, I'm going to stream on Twitch, I'm going to stream on YouTube, I'm going to stream on Kick. I got all this energy now. Everything's like, I'm instead of just wanting to feel better all the time, I don't even think about that anymore because I do feel good. So yeah, no, I thank you, brother. I'm really glad it worked for you. Old McData had a farm. Everything we see is in the past. The past is important, very important. This is why I bring up often for people, learn as much history as you can. And whether you're religious or not, the oldest history we have is the Bible. And it's absolutely, it can at least teach you about human psychology, about why, how to recognize people that are being manipulative and whatnot. It's a great book to read, even if you're an atheist and you want to do anti-religion stuff. Read the Bible. Yesterday we talked about Boots Void, right? Yep. Boots Void. I see D3O, D3O, like C3PO, CD3O. I know that's pretty funny. Half cereal. I know no one gets my jokes. I get them sometimes. Proverbs is a great book for that. It doesn't make any sense to me. Why people would say, don't read it. Even if you're not religious, it's got 2,000 plus years of history in it. It's the best way to learn about the past. And the thing is, there's maybe a handful of things that people dislike about it for religious reasons, but screw them. I didn't like what Adolf did in World War II, but I still read about the history. It's like, Yeah, it's crazy to me. You look like that crazy guy Lesko. The Grants guy, Michael Lesko. Michael Lesko. Michael Lesko. Hold on. Michael Lesko. Michael Lesko? No, not Michael. Damn it. What's his name? The Grant guy. Yeah, what was it? Matthew Lesko. Yeah. I love it. Free money for everybody. I love it. That's great. That's great. How you doing, Georgie? Where's the questions? A lot of question marks. Yep, right. Yep. That's funny. That's funny. I'm not a religious guy, but I'm interested in Orthodox Christianity. You should be, and you should be interested in Orthodox Islam. Half the planet is Orthodox Islam. We have about 1.7 billion people are Orthodox Christian or some form of Christian. Why would you not want to know about the people that are on your planet and what they think? If you've got to do business, you should know what these people think if you want to do business with half the planet. You know, I think that's one of the big reasons people tell you not like science. Okay, great. Yes, science too. Yeah, it's crazy to me. I am. I don't care who laughs at my jokes. I make them for myself to laugh. Right? How you doing, Channing? Yeah, doing good. Proverbs is not history. The Torah is actually 3,300 years old, not 2,000. Yeah, I was wrong about that. I said at least 2,000 years. And that's definitely, it's way the hell more than 2,000 years. The Old Testament, the New Testament's about 2,000 years old. But yeah, I agree. Aaron, how you doing, my friend? It's literally dressed as the Riddler from Batman. I wouldn't trust him. I wouldn't trust him either. Yeah, Proverbs is advice for living. Yes. Right. And it's just like you'll listen to people that were alive last year and their quotes, and people will get them tattooed on themselves and stuff, like what Obama said or what frickin' Trump said or whatever. What about the people? It doesn't make any sense to me why people don't. Yeah, and do you think people believe Jesus was white because they said he's my body? Oh, the cracker. I don't know why they think he's white. It doesn't make any white doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't make any sense to me. If we want to consider that to be how, like, even if it's trying to explain genetics, it makes sense that they would be brown people, because brown people have a mixture of white and black genetics. So you would get, that would make sense for why we have white and black people here. And the problem with evolution talk, the way it's taught now, is it's based on white people are more evolved than black people. That was a big thing, and a big thing why they wanted to say no, 1994 or whatever it was when the DNA stuff came out, and that's a problem. So you have people that want to promote this. When you study back to it, it's one of the big things they wanted to find out, and that's a big problem. The racism in evolution is a huge problem. It makes more sense, and you're not an asshole if you can say no, frickin' the Adam and Eve genetic lines were brown, and then we got the white and black people from that. That answers questions without having to say, well, monkeys evolved into black people, and the black people evolved into white people, and this is crazy shit. Gay. I think Jesus was from the Middle East, and brown skin may have many shades. Yes, absolutely, and it makes sense that quick. It makes sense that quick. Oh, well, it makes sense. Okay, great, right? Because it's like, and especially so when I was a kid. My grandmother told me about this movie star in the 1950s. Let me see if we can find anything about her. And she sued her grandmother for not telling her that her great grandmother married a black man and had a kid, because when she was a movie star, she married a white woman, married a white man movie star, and they had a black child. And she was so embarrassed by it because her mom never told her that there was black in their bloodline. And so even though it was two white people had a kid, they had a black baby. And so there was all this issue with did she cheat? And she sued her grandmother. Let me see if I can find it. White actress in the 1950s sued her grandmother for having a black baby. It's probably not going to touch it. Dinah Shore. I don't think it was Dinah Shore. I'd have to look into it. Carol Channing. Yeah, whatever. It doesn't matter. But yeah, I remember they told us about the mark of Cain, and that's why there were black people back in church. Right, right. It's crazy. This is the thing that's absolutely crazy. They're trying to, and there's no proof. No one, the only thing, the only info we can have about that is the writings of that time. And the only writings we have that are that old, besides like things that are chiseled in stone, is religious texts from the texts from the time. And it's like, so they want to say, but for whatever reason, didn't Mark Cain sing "Walking in Memphis"? Was it Mark Cain? I heard Ethiopians have the oldest Bible. Yes, one of the oldest Bibles is the Ethiopian Bible. The Ethiopian Bible, renowned as the oldest and most complete Bible. It predates many Western versions by centuries, containing unique texts such as Enoch, Jubilees, and Maccabees. Mechabon. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, it's interesting stuff, man. It's really interesting stuff. It's and the thing is, it's like one of the big things that I used to get on the internet, especially, people would say, "You read the Bible? That's fairy tales." And then I'd scroll back in their chat and stuff like that, and I've talked to people that are like, they're like, "What's your favorite movie? What's your favorite comic book?" What are you talking about? Oh, you read the Bible, you read fairy tales, you read comic books. What are you talking about? Even if it is like, and the thing is, some of our greatest art is from the hero's journey. Star Wars, Harry Potter. That's the hero's journey. That's taken. It's crazy. I'm seeing many street interviews, Christian and Muslim fighting. What is happening, Richard? So I'll tell you what the big problem is. Enoch, no on heaven. Enoch, on heaven's door. What's happening? Here's the big thing that's happening. You've got a lot of people that don't read their books. And the arguments can give you a lot of clicks and views. Like I was saying before, why would you not read these books? So you have a lot of Muslims and a lot of Christians, Jews, whoever, they don't read their holy books. So they only know quotes and quips and whatnot. So when you hear somebody talking about it, you're like, yeah, that must be true. And a lot of these people are just wrong. And so I think what a lot of people like seeing is they like seeing a Muslim trip up and say something about the Quran says this and that, and it doesn't. And then somebody says, and then a Christian or Jew or whatever says the same thing. The Bible says this and that, and then it doesn't. And they like to see that. They like to see the drama. I don't think it's really. I mean, there is absolute good religious debate, without a doubt. But I think the internet stuff is a lot of rage bait. You get whoever the two religions are. You have, and if you look in the chat in the comments section, they're on fire. And so you get all, and if you, knowing the business of streaming like I know, and YouTube like I know from having signed a contract with them and seeing how it's played out, you get engagement. You do that and your engagement lights up like a Christmas tree. So you keep doing it and doing it and doing it. And then it's the same thing. It's a lot. You have a lot of people that are called grifters. They're just religious for the clicks and views because it gets them lots of stuff. Do you think the Ark of the Covenant, the Holy Grail, is real? Yes. Now, do I think they are real? Do I think they're real as of, do I think like in Indiana Jones and stuff like that? I mean, no, I don't think so. I do think that the Holy Grail, I believe as when we were younger humans, we found things like radium, uranium, and stuff like this. And I believe that just like people have collected elements forever, it was a way to store radioactive elements. Instead of lead lining it, and this is just me brainstorming. The Ark of the Covenant was very thick golden wood because the gold and lead are almost exactly as dense, so that they're good for radiation shield. And gold's not used anymore because it's expensive. for radiation shielding, and I think that like people open it and they end up dead of blisters and boils, and that makes great sense for something that's radioactive. Cheese my cherry pie. I don't read books, they were good movies. The penitent man shall pass in day. Richard, look up Jan versus Jan Van depiction of hell. All right, all right. How have they turned most Persians against Islam overnight? I know the history of all the media is actually a bit deep. Going back to this, well, I think you know what you're talking about, Paul. The people don't read their books, and propaganda is powerful. And if you know that you're safer as one religion than another, you can be much more easily suggestible. You're more easily suggestible to one thing or another. Tell me what's up with that star video I sent you. And tell me what's up with the star video I sent and the explanation. All right. Let's do this. The ark was supposed to hold the commandments. I don't remember. It's not popping up in my head. I don't think so. I don't know. I haven't. It's not, for some reason, it's not recollecting to me. What up, Sus? Smelting the ark. Speaking of the ark, I wonder why the games they played. I wonder what would have been easy to be. No, I just have it too fair. The Persians are only good for shoot. Oh, jeez. What am I looking at here? Art Van. Jan, is that what it was? Jan Van? Dad jokes because I love cheese. Not my Persian. She's coming around Friday again. What up, Gary? Bring it on. Okay, hold on. Let's take a look at this. Oh yeah, that's some freaking. Let's find something bigger. Yeah, that dude, I tell you what, art used to be so amazing back in the day. You know what? And this is the kind of stuff that would make you convert. Like, look at the design, look at the people boiling in oil and the devil just chewing on somebody. Jesus, ridiculous. What do you call a rabbit with diarrhea? I don't know. I used to be addicted to cheese, just couldn't leave the provolone. I love it. Provolone. A salad shooter. Dun, dun, dun. That's funny. That's getting written down. That's getting copy and pasted. Salad shooter. That's going in the arsenal, dude. The classical art and poetry is something else. I can take them with me on a space journey. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable the difference between then and now. But I can understand it because back in these days, you had kings and stuff that would be patrons. They would say, "Hey, you're getting paid to make art for this or that," and so that's what people did. They worked for 8 hours a day painting and writing poetry and stuff. Like Rabbi on a Hill. All right, what were you talking about? Good evening, by the way. How was your night looking at 10:15 where I'm at? It's 11:15, right? 11:16. What up, that spicy burrito? Yes, 11:15. But yes, looking fine. It's not even below freezing yet. And Paul, you said something about. Let me look. You talking about you sent me in WhatsApp, right? Oh wow. Oh, come on. Salad shooter. Oh, damn it, dude. Only 9 seconds. Okay, sorry, you got another one. Okay, hold on. What's up? All right. That's crazy looking, dude. So I'm going to tell you what I honestly think it might be. And so you have what's called you have what's called atmospheric aberrations, because you've got a bunch of hot air and cold air that can and different density gases, that like a lot of twinkling stars. But that's crazy how fiery it looks. That looks like I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it on. I can't get it on the screen, unfortunately, because it's on WhatsApp, so it's encrypted. I can't bring it up. It'll just show us a black screen. It's 25. It feels like 15. Yeah, I just saw it. I saw it. I mean, I can try to show it to you. Let me see if I could probably download it. Hold on, download. Share. Let me do this. Share Bluetooth. Okay, yeah. Hold on, I can do something. Hold on. You can send it as a screen. I can do it as a screen grab, and then save it. So let me do this. Bam, bam. Okay, it's coming over. All right, I'll show it in just a second. That's the closest star we could see. That's the closest star we could see, the brightest star. Okay, gotcha. If you pause, all the colors change. No, yeah, I can see it. I can see it. We'll all look at it in just a second. Did you ever look up a trailer for the new Toxic? Yes, we looked it up. I thought we looked it up while you were online. Yeah, I looked it up the same day we were talking about it. What a real deal. Do you have a theory on what they're trying to hide? Göbekli Tepe. Yes. Yeah. The boat previously known as Noah's Ark. So there is billions of dollars involved in secular science books, and anti-biblical the religion of atheism. Billions of dollars. If any more evidence comes out that could disprove these anti-biblical theories at all, even if they just find a big ass boat that, that whatever, it adds a little more credence to, and they would have to start rewriting all of these curriculums and everything, and they don't want to do that. There's writing these books, printing the books, the digital versions of the books, teaching teachers to teach other teachers to all these curriculums. That would all have to be changed, right? And they don't want to do it. It doesn't, because they don't feel like it's going to make a big difference. But Göbekli Tepe is freaking, yeah. I know you couldn't show the trailer. I was trying to see if you looked up. Oh, no. No, I did watch it. I watched it on stream. We could watch the trailer on stream. Yeah, we can watch it again today, too. What up, life? I was Göbekli, the Italian lad. Ancient Aliens TV show is enjoyable, but not legit. Right, yeah, it wasn't legit. It was enjoyable, though. What up, bub? Lovely Land Lunch. It was camaraderie. Okay, hold on here. I got it downloaded. Bang, bang. Let's see. That's 014. Finish. All right. We might have to see it twice, because I have to. I got to put it on screen. It'll take me just a second. Okay. Add. I don't think. Let me see. Let me double check something real quick. Oops. Okay, all right. We'll just do it on the YouTube side, because there's only one person on Twitch. The bloke that had mad hair, massive forehead, with our RFK with the Toxic Adventure. That's funny. Okay, hold on. Let's do this. Add, video, media source, new, local file, browse, documents, 14. Open. All right, I'm going to try to pause it real quick as soon as it starts. Restart on playback. Okay, local file. Okay, so hopefully this will pause. All right, so you guys can see that, right? All right. So, yeah. I freaking love the internet, dude. Yeah, that's absolutely the color change and the... Yeah, it does. It's definitely very randomized looking. I had this weird dream last night. I want your opinion. Yeah, bring it on. It was weird. I was at my house for some reason. The live fish got into a fight with a McDonald's cheeseburger. Then I woke up. So who would win in a fight between a live fish and a McDonald's cheeseburger in a street fight? A live fish. Fish are ruthless, dude. Fish are ruthless. Cheeseburgers just lay there. Happy birthday, bub. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. I think you just became my favorite streamer. Bam. Thank you, my friend. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Well, you're very welcome. Happy birthday. My birthday was January 10th, 18 days ago. Who would win in the fight, me or Lamb? Me, 100%. 100%. Dude, 100%. I could just run away from him for a couple of minutes, tucker that guy out, and then just give him a freaking fist elbow combo to boom, bam, done. Let's see Lamb's come back. I see that from my house. It's called the disco ball in the sky. Let's play it again. Oops, that's me. That's me. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Aw, where'd it go? Why did that not work? Oh, I did it over here. That's why. Sorry, my bad. Here it is. Huh? Oh, it didn't replay. Okay, hold on. Give me 1 second. 1 second. Bam. Right click. Properties. There we go. Okay. I could probably even zoom in a little more. Hold on. Let me see if I can probably zoom. Yeah, I can zoom in a little more. Yeah, that's crazy, dude. I love this stuff, dude. I love it. That's so freaking awesome. I think it's the government, the biggest gang I know. I got the government, 100% confidence. Well, there's nothing like a good debate. I would win. Who would win between Rich and Scott? Dude, I still got it, dude. Yeah, I'm a well-trained individual. I listen. My parents did a very smart thing, putting us in competitive fighting as youth. I'm very. I mean, I might get the shit knocked out of me, but I'm not gonna think I am until it happens. Until I'm laying on the ground with a bloody nose and me, I'm like, oh, that was a mistake. But yeah. That's what I was thinking about McDonald's cheeseburger. It has so many preservatives it can last forever. Happy birthday to you. Crazy. Would use foul methods being English. Rich would use foul methods being English. I would stick to Queensbury rules. Rich, look up Ghosts in a Tree by Franz. Ghosts in a Tree. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Yeah, dude. Wow. I don't know what part that is. Do you think our government made those capsules or whatever they are that are defying gravity and water displacement? Yes. So did you hear about the VHV flights that they talked about in Congress? Very high voltage ionic thrust vehicles. They call it gravity defying without using any other kind of like spinning propulsion. And this was talked about in Congress in the open. We don't watch that stuff. And if the news doesn't tell us about it, we don't learn about it. So you got to go through and just watch hours and hours and hours and hours of this footage. It's all available, but we just, unless someone finds it and puts it on the internet and clips it and it goes viral or something. But yeah, I found a bunch of that stuff. VHV. If you look up VHV, very high voltage flight. Barry. VHV leverages high voltage or ionic propulsion to enhance performance. So these typically drone batteries can have emerging ion thrusters. So they've got, and they call it what they were talking about in. Let me see if I can find. I just wanted to see if anybody posted the video in Congress. Very high voltage, VHV. Here it is. Here it is. Here it is.
That this information that he had, which allowed for a car to run out of the ambient energy, was in documents confiscated by the FBI.
Hold on 1 second. So hold on. This is where it gets good. I wish I knew how to send you the video from my house and start. I can see right now. Do you have Discord, Gary, or WhatsApp, or email? You can email me 110thgrade@gmail.com. Okay, hold on.
And I have a Department of Defense document demanding that the FBI turn these over to the DoD. The FBI refused. At any rate, science continues because the laws of the universe are in fact universal, and they can be discovered here or around Alpha Centauri or any place else in the cosmos. By 1928 and 29, T. Townsend Brown, as well.
This is 1928. So we're thinking that, oh, people are stupid. No. Listen, scientists were smart people, physicists were smart a long time ago. Technology didn't make people smart. It just made it easier to educate other people. This stuff, listen.
As the Kolosky-Frost experiment in physics in Germany had determined that VHV, very high voltage systems, done in a certain resonant field could result in so-called electromagnetic-gravitic effect, the lifter effect that has been described, which you see in UFOs. They also can create what's called a space-time bubble around an object so that you can correct for 1G. This is how these objects are traveling at multiples of what any aerodynamic physics would describe, and can make right-hand turns without killing the occupants. Around this same time, there was, in the 1940s and the late 1930s, a number of UFO sightings. This included the so-called Foo Fighters. Yes, it's a famous rock group. However, the Foo Fighters took their name from the reports of these objects seen in the theater of World War II that were flying around our aircraft. We thought it was a secret weapon of the Nazis. The Nazis thought it was a secret weapon of ours. There is Jimmy Doolittle, the famous general. His nephew is a dear friend of mine, and he has testified that General Doolittle was sent by FDR over to the European theater in World War II, investigated the Foo Fighters, and came back and told Roosevelt, and I quote, "They are interplanetary vehicles." That shows that when Nikola Tesla died, that this information that he had, which allowed for a car to run out of the ambient energy, was in documents confiscated by the FBI.
Called like the ether and whatnot, just taking energy out of the air. Because moving a magnet by a coil of wire induces a voltage. Well, the Earth's core is magnetic, so you have magnetic fields in the air, so you can have big towers, and as the Earth spins and it goes through the magnetic field, you can get a voltage. The larger the gradient, the higher the voltage. And then you can use these ultra high voltages to do things. And I think things like copper, you can only use copper wires for so high of a voltage until you have like breakdown issues and heat issues. But things like silver and gold, which are very expensive, you can use them. They're much better conductors. Silver, absolutely. And I think that's why the price of silver is going up so high now. But this stuff is Congress. This is why I don't want stupid people in Congress. This is why I'm not worried about the Democrat-Republican bickering over bullcrap. I want smart people. If we've got to have Democrats, they should be smart. They shouldn't be bumbling idiots that are like, it's stupid. There's actual science going on and stuff that matters, and we don't need people that are arguing about petty bullcrap.
Demanding that the FBI turn these over to the DoD.
Yes, they
the
were.
FBI refused. At any rate, science continues because the laws of the universe are
That's looping, right? Yeah, but this stuff's absolutely great. And one thing I love about for however my brain was developed, I have a pretty dang close to photographic memory, and so like every time somebody brings anything up, it's rare in a stream that I know that people bring stuff up that doesn't at least ring a bell. It happens all the time, and when it does, I like to fill that gap in my knowledge. But yeah, this stuff's absolutely cool. It's absolutely really cool that this stuff happens. And like and you can do things with like 10,000 volts. Like you have these, you probably seen the little aluminum foil ones. There should be an IQ minimum. There absolutely should be. And the only reason I don't think there is because I don't think the people we see on TV are the ones running things. Aluminum foil ionic thruster. So this is just very high voltage and aluminum foil, and it makes a plasma. And it flies. It's not using, it's not, and this thing, this thing, the only guy that does this, there's lots of them. So you have the aluminum foil, which is grounded, all right? And then it's hard to see, but these little toothpicks, on each corner, there's a wire going from toothpick to toothpick. So you have a gradient, a high voltage gradient between the aluminum foil and the little wire. And the difference of that gradient creates a field which can basically repel. And I'm not 100% sure about this. This is just something that I read and didn't really look deep into it. But it uses the anti-magnetic field. It's just how like electrons push each other apart. You can have positive and positive, negative, negative. So the ground, the electrical ground, is that piece of aluminum foil in the ground. You can see a little clip right there, clipping that. That's going to the ground of the power supply. And yeah, it floats. It flies. It flies. So it makes a lot of noise, and it would make a whole lot of electrical interference. And right now he's got it tied down with like dental floss taped down so it doesn't keep going away. And it doesn't have any control, so it would go whatever direction it wants to. Flashbang, Minnesota, warmer, dude. Vibration, frequency, shapes, levitation. That's exactly what this is. That's exactly what it is. It's exactly what it is. So you could hear the frequency. It's about the positive, negative charges. Yes, sir. I just came back from school. Welcome back, Path. Yeah. What up, Jennifer Aniston? They're called an ionocraft. Somebody made a bunch of them. There's like a whole bunch of them. Like they put like 12 of them together. Here's another. This is 400,000 volts. 400 kilovolts. Science. Frickin' you guys. Oh, me, oh, my. And these are people listen, this is what people are doing in their frickin' bedrooms, in their shops, in their basements, this stuff. So imagine what the government is doing, right? Like these guys take soda cans and cut them apart and wind their own transformers. It's just a pair of scissors, he ain't frickin'. Asian hacker. There you go. We got the era music. Science that made the first stage engine of Saturn was from old. Right, that's exactly right. Bless you. Yeah, so 3 volts to 400. So he's using a taser transformer, a taser pulse transformer, which takes a regular old lithium battery and turns it into high voltage. Yes. It's called an LC circuit. L is inductor, oddly enough, because I is current. So it's an LC inductor, which is a coiled wire. So an LC. Dang it, inductor capacitor circuit. Yes, sir. Yes, you're correct. Inductor capacitor, LC circuit. Yeah. L is inductor for lens. Lens is law. So he's melting hot wax to hold it. It looks like, or hot glue. Sorry. So that ring is going to be grounded, and then he's going to put really high voltage on this soda can, and then those points, the reason he cut it like a zigzag like that is those points make it an easy spot for the plasma to form. And then it's going to speed towards, and this is how you make what's that thing, the 27 kilometer ring, particle accelerators. That's exactly what he is. So he's accelerating the particles off the tips of that soda can past the ground. And the higher the voltage, the faster those things move. And then you'll just, I mean, I've never seen this guy's thing, but why are they doing this in a Turkish bazaar? Imagine that could be this area fueling. Right. So he's showing this here. So he turns it on, you can see the flame move. So it is pushing air past that there. And you can see the direction by the direction of the flame. And it blew the flame out. There you go. Those are his capacitors right there, and that's his inductor. Yeah, those are his capacitors, the black. And he's just fooling around with 400,000 volts. I would have got a switch or something. He's holding it together with his fingers. Yeah, good luck, buddy. Yeah, so he's not even tuning the circuit. Like he could get exact numbers for the exact capacitances and exact resistances for his copper ring. So he's just throwing stuff together with the millions and billions of dollars. It uses plasma to defy gravity, right? That's cool, and he's just doing it in his freaking room. There it goes. It just blew. Pop. Yeah, so this is an LC circuit right here. L stands for Lenz's law, which is a coil of wire, and then he's got capacitors on there. And that's actually he's using a crystal because he's making a radio. But anyway, it doesn't matter. Right. But yeah, and you can like a lot of people, the problem is it can kill you quick. So a lot of people left the planet, while investigating stuff like this. That's why labs are good to have. But yeah, that's pretty cool stuff. It's pretty cool stuff. All right, let me pee in the turlet. Pee in the turlet. Sorry. TR3B aircraft. My buddy's dad, Clarence, told me about it. TR3B. Somebody mentioned something earlier too. I don't know if Gary's still here. If he's still here, we can watch that. What's it called? Oh, nice. Anti-gravity spy plane. Let's watch that. Hopefully I don't have music in it. Weapons of the world. I'm back. We're talking society stuff. I see. Yes, sir. Redacted. Here you go. This is spy plane stuff. The TR3B Black Manta. I have a Sony 55-inch plasma from 2003. Still in my house. There's a sheet over it and behind a bookcase. Yeah, those plasma TVs weighed a ton. Right. Yeah, those things are no joke. I have the one I have beside me right now is a 33-inch plasma that I use as a monitor. My neighbor gave it to me for helping when her and her husband moved out of the house. They had a new house done. Anyway, yeah, I got one right here. But that 55-inch is going to be a hell of a lot more. Yeah, I love it. It's hard to see the dots.
This is one of the most intriguing and mysterious aircraft in modern aviation history, the TR-3B Black Manta. The TR-3B, also known as the Astra, is an alleged top-secret triangular
So,
shaped.
Paul, I wonder if that light that you saw looks like the centered dot on this. I wonder if they're just putting out different voltages of plasma, the triangle, so they can keep it centered in the air, and the metal one for just center for
aircraft. Some people think that TR means tactical recon, so many speculate that the TR-3B is a mysterious reconnaissance aircraft. Many witnesses, from pilots, aviation enthusiasts, civilians, to UFO fans, have reported seeing this mysterious aircraft. And maybe you've seen it too, right?
Yeah, maybe.
This mysterious aircraft come and go without a trace, glide easily through the sky without a sound, and of course, this is very confusing. It is rumored that the TR-3B is part of a black project. Its unconventional design and capabilities have sparked much speculation and debate among aviation enthusiasts and conspiracy theorists alike. The TR-3B is said to utilize a highly advanced propulsion system, using a combination of conventional jet engines and anti-gravity propulsion technology. This alleged anti-gravity propulsion is believed to allow the aircraft to operate silently and achieve incredible speed, maneuverability, and even hover in midair. The TR-3B is the most stealthy aircraft that can sneak into any airspace of any country without being detected. Another notable feature of the TR-3B is its ability to generate a distinctive triangular pattern of light in the night sky. Witnesses have described this pattern as a series of pulsating lights at each corner of the triangle, creating an eerie and mesmerizing display. Some believe that these lights are a side effect of the aircraft's advanced propulsion system. In contrast, others speculate that they may serve as a form of optical camouflage, making the aircraft difficult to detect or track on radar. However, it's important to note that the existence of the TR-3B remains unconfirmed by any official sources. The lack of official acknowledgement has only added the mystic surrounding this aircraft. Some skeptics argue that the TR-3B is nothing more than a fictional invention of conspiracy theorists, while others believe that its existence is purposely kept hidden to protect its classified capabilities. But what exactly is an anti-gravity propulsion system? So I'm finding out from various sources about what is an anti-gravity propulsion system. At its core, it is a propulsion system that defies the traditional principles of physics by nullifying or counteracting the force of gravity. It promises to propel objects, such as spacecraft or vehicles, without the need for conventional propulsion methods like rockets or engines. One of the most promising theories behind anti-gravity propulsion is based on manipulating the fabric of space-time itself. By creating a localized gravitational field that cancels out the effects of Earth's gravity, we can create a weightless environment for the object being propelled. This can be achieved through various methods, such as electromagnetic fields, superconductors, or even the utilization of exotic matter. The potential applications of anti-gravity propulsion systems are vast, from enabling faster and safer space travel to revolutionizing transportation here on Earth. So anti-gravity propulsion systems offer a tantalizing glimpse into a future where the skies are no longer the limit. With ongoing research and advancements in technology, we may one day unlock the secret of anti-gravity and embark on incredible journeys across the cosmos and here on Earth.
Hydrogen, a positive charge cloud. and then ground, negative charge cloud, right? A pinched magnetic field, you have Lorentz force.
However, this concept is frequently explored in science fiction. Still, modern science and engineering have not yet realized or proven it possible. To date,
so I absolutely think that day's coming, without a doubt. Like, they're working on creating very small nuclear reactors, and for like tanks and stuff. So not like super small, like for your car or whatever, but if they can do that, then they can make ones whatever size they want. So they could do a medium size one to put into a rocket, and we're going into space like every couple of days now with SpaceX, or every couple of weeks or whatever. So we've got that basically down. And if we want to build things in space, like if something is too heavy to launch, we can launch it in parts and then put it together, in space. And I think that's what's happening with the moon, the new moon missions. I think that's a plan, and they want to use the moon as like a layover point, like if you'd fly from country to country, you'd have a layover in another country, another city, and so they would be able to put a bunch of things on the moon. And think about it. Everybody wants their name on that. So if you can get back to the moon, you have all these companies that want that, that would want their name and lights on the moon. So people with better telescopes later, when kids have nice telescopes that are, like they used to look out the back, they'd see Amazon or whatever, there will be YouTubers reacting to nuclear reactors. That's exact, reacting to nuclear reactors.
No experimental evidence or practical demonstration of anti-gravity propulsion exists.
All right, that's what you stop talking about. But yeah, that stuff's pretty cool. It's neat to see what people are doing. And the thing is, you have so many people that are chasing dating apps and chasing bullcrap rather than doing cool stuff. And it's so crazy how like the culture calls people nerds and weird and lames and stuff like that to stop people from chasing knowledge and having them instead chase like tail. It's crazy. Let's see, let's find something fun to watch. Voltage plasma generator. Oh, you know what we can watch? Zach. Shorts. How to drink out of a puzzle jug. The fisherman's luck turned deadly. That's what. What up, bear? Uh-oh. That's the wrong thing. What did I do? I went to Discord. There we go. Oh, hold on. Let's get rid of that. Let's turn that off. All right. My bad. Freaking cool to think about that stuff. It's so cool. Like if we had this technology before, if you can make anti-gravity technology, that would be the easiest way to lift those heavy ass blocks. You know what I'm saying? But it's really cool to think about. It's really cool.
Anything, meaning he could barely support himself. But suddenly, a massive school of fish swam under his boat, so he tossed his net overboard and started hauling them in. Finally, it felt like his luck had turned. But as the pile grew heavier, he didn't notice how unstable his boat was getting, until it suddenly tipped. The man fell into the water and drowned, ending the best day of his life in tragedy. He pulled
Frickin' guy is so crazy. How you can actually surf a tsunami.
If you tried to surf on a tsunami, you might think that you could ride it for miles, but tsunamis don't curl like surf waves. Instead, they shoot up like a wall of water. swirling with rocks and dead animals. By the time it hits land, it can also carry entire trees and buildings. So even if you were an Olympic surfer, you would still be dragged under the water. If you tried to
No bueno. Oh, I love
She
it.
crashed her truck right into a beehive, making a massive swarm of angry bees burst out and attack her. Now, a neighbor heard her screams and ran to alert her parents who lived nearby. They rushed in to pull her away, but the bees turned on them too, stinging them hundreds of times until they collapsed. They were taken to the hospital, and the mother was left severely injured, while the woman and her father passed away, all because of a single beehive.
No, it was because of the freaking car wreck. Like how they just gloss over that. It didn't have anything to do with her
The
flipping
baby
the car
dolphin
into a
got
tree.
separated from its mother, and the waves pushed it onto the sand. People rushed toward it, crowding around it before lifting it. Then they passed it from person to person just so they could take pictures. But the longer it stayed out of the water, the more it dried up.
That's
and
crazy.
one tourist even covered its blowhole, meaning it couldn't breathe. When rescuers arrived just 15 minutes later, the crowd finally stepped back. But the dolphin had already died from being suffocated and shown off just because people wanted photos.
Yeah, people are crazy. 100%. How the astronauts could turn poop into food?
When an astronaut poops in space, their waste could be taken and mixed with special microbes, and these would eat the solids, releasing gas as they go. The gas could then be used to feed bacteria, which would multiply quickly. And since the whole thing would be heated to almost 160 degrees, it would kill any germs left from the poop. Next, the bacteria could be collected and turned into a paste, which astronauts would eat. This would save room on the spacecraft by turning their own poop into food.
Yeah, I tell you what. No, I ain't going. If they're thinking about this kind of crap already.
He spun the wheel, and it landed on a centipede, so he picked one up and ate it. And he streamed this live to thousands of followers. Every time he spun the wheel, he would eat or drink whatever it landed on, including worms and geckos. But when he ate the live centipedes, he got stuck in his throat, and he collapsed while live streaming. The whole thing was streamed on social media, meaning his followers watched him die on screen. He spun the wheel, and it landed on a centipede.
People are so... Yeah, this is not the reason it goes viral.
He was leaving a job interview when he saw the stroller rolling towards traffic. You see, a strong wind had yanked it away from the woman, who fell when she tried to grab it. But the man started sprinting and caught it just seconds before it hit traffic. Now, he had been homeless for years, but after the video went viral, the company called him to tell him he got the job. Soon, other companies began to reach out too, finally giving him the fresh start he deserved. He was
This is why I don't go out. The legend is live again. What up in viral? Oh, man, that new astronaut cooks like... That new astronaut food can't taste like her. Yeah, that's why I'm not an astronaut. Right. Cool story, right. Hey, look, it made me get a job at Applebee's. Woman finds bullets in Costco hot dogs.
He pulled the...
Oh, come on.
As she ate the hot dog, she didn't notice the bullet inside going down her throat. Then she bit onto something hard, and when she pulled it out, she realized it was another bullet. But the factory claimed they always did a metal scan of their food before they were sold. And when the police tore open dozens of other hot dogs, they couldn't find anything. After she pooped it out, she was left with 2 bullets and no explanation. As she ate the hot dog, she
Great. What's up with the freaking damn bullet and hot dog sounds? Yeah, right. No, listen, she was hoping to get $1 million is what she was hoping for. People are so freaking dodgy. How pigeons were used in war.
3 pigeons were crammed inside the bomb before it was launched, and as it flew toward the enemy ship, each of the birds was shown a screen. Now, they had previously been trained to peck at the target, so as they tapped the screens inside the bomb, sensors tracked their movement.
This is probably why touch screen sensors were made for before cell phones, to teach freaking pigeons how to...
If the ship stayed at the center of the screen, it meant the missile was on course. But if it drifted to one side, the pigeons would follow the enemy ship on the screen, setting off the sensors. This would trigger tiny levers that corrected the bomb's course until it finally hit the ship, killing the pigeons along with the enemy. But this idea was scrapped before the bombs were ever used.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, that is true. Yes, I do recall. I actually learned about. Yep. Bruh, she actually digested the bullets. I mean, when they come out at the same time, that's wild. Yeah, like Misadventure. That's her name. That's Misadventure. Where the term crocodile tears came from.
If a crocodile eats a human, they'll actually cry real tears. Now, some people think they were just pretending to be sad, and this is where we get the term crocodile tears, which means you fake your sadness. But this actually happens because a crocodile's eyes dry out when it leaves the water, and this causes them to produce tears to keep them wet while eating their prey, meaning they're actually not sad at all.
No.
If a crocodile eats a human, they'll actually cry real tears.
Why doctors started washing their hands.
When an astronaut...
So I remember, it might be the same, but it was a guy that he was the guy that made it popular. He was both the mortician or the coroner and the guy that delivered babies. So he would go from the morgue to the delivery room without washing hands, and all these people ended up getting sick for years and years and years and years. And then he started washing his hands. He was like, "Hey, I don't know if they're gonna tell that story or not, but that's what I."
He would slice up the corpse and then deliver a baby, all without washing his hands. Now, the germs from the dead bodies would infect both the mother and child, killing them just days after birth. One doctor figured something was going from the corpses to the mothers, so he ordered everyone to wash their hands in between, which stopped nearly all of the deaths. But no one believed him. The constant rejection wore him down, and his mental health collapsed. His co-workers sent him to an asylum where he was beaten up by guards, but the germs from their hands got into his wounds, and he died from the very thing he tried to prevent. Decades later, his discovery was finally accepted, and today, hand washing saves millions of lives.
Yeah, what else is new? Gangrene. Yep. That shit's crazy. Gorilla cries over kitten. How vinyl records are made. Baby falls into a heating vent. There we go.
He pulled the grate off the vent, and his baby brother crawled straight in. He dropped 8 feet down the hole before getting stuck at the bottom. Now, their mom was in the other room and had no idea what happened until the toddler came in yelling, "Baby in." He showed her the open vent, and she realized her baby was inside.
She didn't want her baby to be alone, so she pushed the other baby in, and the babies lived happily ever after in the vent. You could still hear them cry when the air conditioner turns on.
Rescuers tried to reach him, but he was in too deep, so an officer crawled under the house, pushing the baby up the shaft and back into his mother's arms. And after that, she screwed the grate shut. He pulled the grate.
Yeah, them cops screwed it shut. How much what?
If you were lifted up by your ponytail, how much weight could you hold before it would rip your scalp off of your head? Well, each strand of your hair can hold only a few ounces before snapping, and you have around 100,000 strands on your head, meaning together your hair could hold thousands of pounds before breaking. But as you add more weight, the pull travels straight to your scalp. Your skin would stretch tight, and the blood vessels underneath would start to tear. And at around a couple hundred pounds, your scalp would begin to tear away from your skull, leaving your hair mostly intact as your scalp rips away. If you were lifted up by your ponytail,
and disappearing? Oh, that's not a good idea.
he climbed onto the table by the railing, and his friends pulled him back down. But when he did it again, people just filmed him as he jumped overboard. You see, he was at his graduation party when he was given the dare. But after someone threw him a lifesaver, he swam away, disappearing into the ocean. Now, the ship was in an area usually filled with aggressive sharks, and when the video of him jumping was posted online, people started to notice a dark, blurry shape near him. The crew searched for 2 days, but he was never found. He climbed on.
He's freaking fish food. His fiance thought. No way. Ancient. Okay, let's see.
He let his son steer the plane, even though there were 75 people on board. But the boy pushed hard on the controls, which turned off the autopilot. And even though a warning light flashed, the pilot didn't see it. Suddenly, the boy pushed the controls again, sending the plane into a nosedive. The pilot took over and managed to pull the plane up, but it climbed too steep, which caused the engine to stall. And without power, the plane plummeted to the ground, killing every single person on board. He let his...
Dude, people are so dumb. Voluntary plank walk. Does a fart stay in your bloodstream when you smell it? Absolutely. Absolutely. It goes right in through your lungs to your bloodstream. I believe it's your liver or your pancreas. It might be your kidney, so let's see. What organs filter farts from your bloodstream after smelling them? It's true that your lungs can expel components of farts that have been absorbed into your bloodstream. If you hold a fart in for a long time, it can re-enter the bloodstream and exhaled. Smelling a fart does not trigger a filtration process. So it can go both ways. If you don't fart and you hold it in long enough, it can go into your bloodstreams and you can breathe it out, burp it out. And it can do the other way around. When you breathe it in, it can go through your lungs back into your bloodstream. It probably turns back into another fart. Oddly enough. Welcome to 110th grade, where we learn about the important things in life. Summer, your body does not filter inhaled farts from your blood. Rather, the gaseous components can, in rare cases, be absorbed into your blood if held too long and not released through the anus. Yeah. What's your thoughts if they really found labyrinth in Egypt? I don't think that's true. I don't think it's true. Legend. I don't think it's true, Serial Brother. Let's look into it. Let's look into it. So this is why I don't think it's true. They said they used LiDAR. LiDAR is laser. It's light. It can't see through the ground. So that would have been ground penetrating radar. So, and it was pushed. Like I checked, it said LiDAR. And so, I mean, unless they kept doing it wrong. But let's look at it. Let's look it up. I hear the temple. They're going to build the third temple. There's like 100 there. There's like 100 there. They only show the main big three. The temple, you're talking about at Giza? How many temples are at Giza? Oh, temples or pyramids in Israel? Okay, got you. Yeah. Oh, right. You're talking biblically. Yes. The third temple. Yes. Right. I thought we were talking about. Right. I thought you meant pyramids. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But pyramids at Giza. Pyramids at Giza. Not the Giza. Yeah, you can't not seeing anything. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of them. Let me see if it gives a answer. Okay. How many periods? How many pyramids are at Giza? It just says several under queens pyramids. Like their queens were in smaller pyramids, their sons were in smaller pyramids. Sometimes their like favorite pets had their own pyramids and stuff. But yes, what you were talking about. Yes, absolutely. The whole thing is it's a never ending story. Oops, broke that. Okay, Labyrinth. Labyrinth found below Egypt. Oh, let's make sure we're talking about the same thing. Are we talking about the one that that they said that they found from scanning like recently? Are you talking about there's actually one, but here's the mod. So now this has changed. It says modern discoveries showing using VLF, very low frequency electromagnetic, has identified potential 18 large chambers. That's potential. This is the storytelling that scientists do to get more funding. So they don't know. They don't know yet. But there is the Labyrinth of Hawara. They have this here. Not much is known about its use. The never-ending story. La 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 la. And then let's look at this. This is what you were talking about. This is only 3 minutes. I believe it's.
Welcome to our podcast, where we explore fascinating stories and ideas from various fields. In this episode, we explore how new tech may uncover ancient pyramid labyrinths. There is a massive structure hiding under a pyramid in Egypt that is like a labyrinth comprising 3,000 rooms and several passageways. This underground like the some pyramids were believed to be tombs, but not all of them. Did the two civilizations share a common thread? The mystery remains to be unraveled. Thanks for tuning into this incredible story. If this episode resonates,
well, yeah, the scan, this is the most AI voice I've ever heard. Yeah, it's not good. It's not good. And so people were making like $30,000-$40,000 a month off of these AI. That one had 10 million subscribers. So like they're making tens of thousands of dollars a month. And the end of last year, AI and to this month, YouTube said they're not paying for low effort videos like AI content like this that just takes a script off of something. You can tell AI find something popular in the news and make a video about it and post it to YouTube, and it can do everything all on its own. And so people were making tons and tons and tons of money. But that's what you get. Let me see if we can find anything interesting. And you know what's interesting is that stuff came out after Mr. Beast went there. The new discoveries at Giza. Let's see what
There's a lot of misinformation spreading around the internet right now regarding a possible discovery underneath the pyramids of Giza. Don't worry, I did the research so you don't have to, and I'm about to tell you the facts. Fact check. In 2022, Filippo Biondi and Corrado Malanga published an academic article. It explored a groundbreaking method for imaging the internal structures of the Great Pyramid using synthetic aperture radar, also called SAR. It revealed new, previously unknown structures inside of the pyramids. But this 2022 paper didn't actually reveal anything underneath the pyramids. That only came later, and this is causing a little bit of confusion. It is only on the first day of 2025 when these same researchers came forward and announced that they made a new discovery using the same techniques and that they were going to announce it at a press release on March 16th.
Low effort, very low effort. Thank you.
Has succeeded in identifying a vast underground city beneath the Giza Plateau.
Then, The press conference finally happened on March 16th. We have a 4-hour live stream of that press conference that still needs to be released. That is before somebody leaked a part of the press conference. And this is where things get interesting. These researchers are claiming that they have found structures underneath all 3 of the pyramids in Giza. This is what these scientists are claiming to have discovered, if the leak is true, if the abstract is true. And that also doesn't mean that what they think they've discovered is true per se, but it is worth investigating. There are vertically aligned cylindrical structures that extend for hundreds of meters beneath the Giza Plateau. Here you can also see the famous image that is spreading around the internet.
Right.
So this image is not fake, unless the leak is fake. But if this leak is real, then this truly is the abstract that has been provided to us from the unpublished paper, which still has to come out. But that isn't all. These researchers claim that they found more structures beneath those.
This is probably what they see, which is a bunch of like that's just pressure and the sand packed together. But there's got to be some sort. Well, there doesn't have to be, but there's probably some sort of foundation underneath. But they're talking about like hundreds of feet below it is what they were saying.
That spread 2 kilometers beneath the Earth's surface. So,
absolutely.
Difficult how maybe did publish an academic article in 2022.
The problem is you have people that spent tens, hundreds of thousands of dollars in college to become researchers, and the only way to get rich is by writing papers. And so they write these papers and they leak these papers. So if you leak a paper and it's all bullshit, but you get a bunch of interviews, you get paid for those interviews, you get paid to go on podcasts and go around and talk, so you can make tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars for a leak. Listen, they would have came out the day after that leak and been like, here's everything we have, give us a couple $100 million to actually do the research. They didn't. Why are they holding back? Because as soon as they give their research out, they're going to be like, no, this is a bunch of crap. Your freaking your very high frequency radar was set wrong. You know, none of that. If the leak came out, they would have benefited from it as much as they can. Hey, what's up, McLaren? So yeah, this is the big problem. The problem is people don't understand the difference between abstracts and theories and hypotheses and fact. You know, just because people have theories and hypotheses, that doesn't mean these things are true. These are guesses. These are, wow, you know what it could be? Could be. And people are like, wow. Here, go look for it. And then with the days of social media, radio, television, going on the news, all that, you get paid for all this stuff. And so you could have this blurry ass image and say, this is what I found. Like, look at Haktua. Like look how much money she made off of going, you got to spit on that thing. You know, like it's the same thing. You get something, you get virality, and then you benefit off of it the best you can. And the thing is, you have data. The data can be interpreted. I just interpret it in a different way. You know what I'm saying? So it's absolutely crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
Using their technology to scan pyramids. False. These discoveries did not come from that academic paper. Fact number 2. These scientists did in fact announce a brand new massive discovery that's going to change the way we see our history and the way the world works. They said they were going to announce this at a press conference that happened on March 16th. False. We don't know what that discovery is yet.
Right.
All we have is a leak that potentially shows us the abstract of an article that's not even published yet.
Right.
I'll keep you updated the moment the press releases.
Right. Somebody wrote a story and it got leaked. And then that leak is making them super popular on the internet, you know? And chicks are calling me like, hey, can I get an interview? And they're like, sure. You want a leak? Gary Pickington described the Great Pyramid as a game on Jenga that got out of hand. A game of Jenga that got out of hand. Yeah, this stuff is freaking so wackadoodle, you know, and then you have a bunch of people that do stuff like this. Because think about all the people.
We finally know what's underneath the pyramids. And these discoveries are great.
We finally know, she says. We finally know. So then the rest of the stupid people like us listen to bullshit like some chick that's in her freaking bedroom like me that's saying, we finally know, like it's the truth. It's not. There's zero truth. There's zero proof.
Groundbreaking. So Dr. Ramini Demi discovered these cylinder-shaped shafts under the pyramids. This is a more in-detail image of what they suspect it looks like. And instead of using like a robot to see what's down there, he volunteered to go down. It took him a week to reach the bottom, and he was shocked at how perfectly the stairs were built. Like, he could not understand how the Egyptians did it. At the very bottom, he found 2 rooms. One had a deep blue pool with bodies floating in it. And the bodies were so well preserved you could
This is freaking such bullshit. This is just puking lies. These are the basalt tombs that we've known about for hundreds of years, more than 100 years, about 100 years.
Still see their eye colors. He had a weird urge to get in the water, but he decided to fight it. He did not want to get in, which I don't blame him. That does not seem safe. And people had already
not seem safe.
Scanned the pyramid.
This is the stuff I think people are so tired of. Just the absolute false confidence. It's absolutely.
And found what they thought were like the top.
Me
of
too. Listen,
oils.
Right. The problem is all of the lies, like all of the COVID bullshit lies. People just puking out bullshit like they were scientists, and then just because like. Sometimes you got past the censorship and sometimes you didn't, and the ones who did get past it made a bunch of money off of it.
The Bible from 1863 even shows 4 pyramids instead of 3. And some explorers from the past have claimed that they found a hidden black pyramid, but no one ever believed them. And in this day and age, a lot of people believe that the pyramids weren't only just tombs. They think that they might have been used to create energy, or like power spaceships, or even teleport people. The pyramids also line up with the stars, which makes people wonder if the Egyptians were a lot more advanced than we thought that they were. Or maybe something not even
This is a movie set.
human helps them create these. Now, there is no actual proof to any of this, but it's very fun to think about. What do you believe? Come over here for more freaky.
This is what I'm talking about. The first minute of this, she's like, everything is true. This is what we know. This is the... Just kidding.
We finally know what's underneath the pyramids. And these discoveries are groundbreaking. So Dr. Ramini Demi discovered these cylinder-shaped shafts under the pyramids. This is a more in-detail image of what they suspect it looks like. And instead of using like a robot to see what's down there, he volunteered to go down.
He's so brave. He's so brave. Except none of this actually happened. But it's fun to think about, you know what I mean? They literally admitted it was a biological weapon, not an accident. Right, yeah, it's all out now. The Saxa conspiracy. Right, she is. Yes, it's very annoying. It's very annoying. This stuff is absolute. Scientists confirm.
We have measured approximately over 1 kilometer of depth.
Over a kilometer?
Yeah, bullshit. That's 2.2 miles. Or no,
do you think that the pyramid was a nuclear fusion machine?
Please give me another question. I don't know. Maybe the water goes through these spirals, and the spirals are made by piezoelectric material.
This is all guesses. He said it's maybe. The more bullshit you can get out, and then it'll go on another show. It'll be like, you mentioned piezoelectric. How would they do that? Well, this is how piezoelectric works. But it has nothing to do. You have no clue. These are all stories. Most science is stories. And if they can get you to believe the story, and more than that, spend money, then you're writing books. They're talking about films. They're like, oh, now Hollywood, I'm sure they want to make films about what's under there. Like they're actually spaceships. These are actually jet engines. And the tip of the pyramid is just the tip of the missile engine, superpower, jamalama. It's all storytelling. I heard someone a long time ago under them say that the pyramid formed.
You think we can turn the power grid back on?
I play Minecraft.
We have measured.
That stuff is so. This is the data they have. This is the data they have. They don't have no. It could be compressed sand. It could be like what we do now. When we build stuff in the sand and in the mud, we run poles down into the ground. We do that right now. That's how we secure foundations. And And that could be what this is, but they're being so imaginative and magical, and they want to get you so talking about it. All those shows is very ambiguous terminology. People say experts believe, etc. People say experts believe, right? Putting posts into the ground to secure foundations. Okay, so like this stuff. Like we do stuff like this, and we drive big ass posts into the ground in order to secure foundations. This stuff is not new. Like look under this house. Where am I at? Right here. Under this house, you run these big ass posts and you run them down to the bedrock. Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. It's absolutely crazy. It's clickbait. It's the same thing. And the thing is, like, you have all of these atheist scientists and religious scientists that have the same data, but they have completely different stories for what it is. That's the best post I've seen on this channel. What? Let me say. Driving poles to bedrock for foundations. Like, so these right here, pile drive, they're called piles. And you draw, and they have big ass hammers that just drive big pipes into the ground. And here's a whole bunch of them that's waiting to go down. They'll have a machine that comes over top, it goes doo 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 and hammers them down. They use what's called a diesel hammer. But yeah, these are the piles, and could be what's going on. And because this is how we actually build stuff, this is what they're expecting to see, because this is how we would do it now in the sand. You know, it's wackadoodle stuff. It's wackadoodle stuff. And here's the big hammer that drives them in. And then you drive them down you drive them down to the bedrock, and then you cut them off flush with where you want to pour your foundation, your footing. Yeah, this is we've done this for centuries. And the thing is, they'll get how many years? They're not allowed to dig there. So they're not going to find out. So they can keep going back. They can be like, "Can I get a couple $1 million to do another exploratory thing? We've got a better scanner now that's got 3 more pixels on it. So we'll do that and get more data, and we'll make so much money from people clicking and advertisers putting stuff on our videos and going around. And then they'll do it again and again and again and again and again. Another telescope, another this, another that, to get a little more of the same data that doesn't tell them anymore. Just it reaffirms what we've done. It's crap. Stop. Hammer time. Whoa, 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 whoa. Stop. Collaborate and listen. Yep, it's just crazy. Yeah, it's just crazy. Stop. Hammer time. Whoa, whoa. Collaborate and listen. What up, G-Tag, brother? Stop. Collaborate. Shut up, Richard. I'm back. The Ice is back with a brand new edition. Something. Will it ever stop? Yo, I don't know. Put out the lights and I glow. Did you really see MC Hammer in that? No way. MC Hammer. MC. It wasn't my choke. Yeah, I remember. I still got you on the wall behind me. The Ice is back with a brand new edition. Something grabs a hold of me tightly, like a hawk, daily and nightly. Yeah, I remember you, brother man. I remember you. I got a good memory. Will it ever stop? Yo, I don't know. Put out the lights. Dang it, did it again. It wasn't my choke. Alright, let's see. What's next? Yeah, that stuff drives me crazy, though. It absolutely drives me crazy. You like frying chicken? Memes from back in the day. All right, let's see what we got here. What if Wolverine had claws? Oh, it's oh, geez, look at that.
The claws extended, they'd slice right through your skin, and this would leave open wounds, leading to serious infections. The claws would also push aside the bones in your hands as they unsheathed, dislocating some and shattering others. And your tendons and nerves would be cut, causing excruciating pain, which is why you'd need healing powers if you wanted to use them more than once. Each time the claws
Yeah, no, absolutely. I agree, William. I agree. There were loads of brothers in the cloud wearing the silly pants. Yeah, there's silly pants. Egon. So, what up, biggest complainer? Welcome back, brother. Oh, dang. On my birth certificate, it says I was delivered by Dr. Spangler, who was also a Ghostbuster. So my mom used to say, "You were delivered by a Ghostbuster." Will it ever stop? Yo, I don't know. Put out the lights and I go, yeah, but yeah, he's definitely a good guy. He's a pastor now. How a donated kidney was thrown in the trash.
Doctors carefully removed his kidney and placed it into a machine to keep it alive. In a nearby room, his sister waited on the operating table.
No.
Her kidneys were failing, and this transplant would save her life. Now, the kidney sat on the counter, cooling in the machine, until a nurse came back from her lunch break. She saw the machine and assumed the transplant was already in his sister's room. So she took out the basin holding the kidney and dumped it straight into a medical waste bin. By the time anyone realized what happened, the kidney had been ruined. For months, his sister was back on dialysis as she waited for another one until she finally received one, but it wasn't as healthy as the one her brother had tried to give her, meaning she had to live with a weaker kidney for the rest of her life.
Stupid nurse. Hold on. Yeah. MC Hammer's current life. MC Hammer now is in California tech, social media. Okay, maybe I was wrong. I could have swore he was a pastor. All right, let me double check this. I could have swore MC Hammer pastor. I could have swore he was a pastor. Yeah, pastor. Yeah, he's an ordained. MC Hammer Stanley Burrell is an ordained minister who transitioned into preaching in the late 1990s following a 1997 spiritual experience. MC stood for Man of Christ, background Pentecostal. Yep. Yeah, I don't wonder why I didn't pull that up at first. It's night, brother. It's 12:30 at night, or half hour past midnight. Yeah. I gotta pray just to make it today. Yeah, it's night. It's midnight. Yeah. Dang. I gotta pray just to make it today. There you go. I found out about Anna. 11:30 for you.
The baby dolphin got separated.
What's going on here? Something here. That's all I wanted to see.
She waits outside the enemy ant nest and kills the workers and rubs them all over her body. This transfers their scent onto her, and she's able to sneak into the nest. Once she's inside, she finds the queen and sprays her with a liquid that marks her as an intruder. When the workers smell her, they think she's the enemy. So they rip their queen to pieces, thinking they're protecting the nest. But the real intruder then becomes the new queen. She starts having babies, and when the original workers die off, they're replaced with her offspring, allowing her to completely take over the nest. She waits.
I didn't know. I wonder if it's actually true. I'm gonna put out the lights. Oh, a two-sided polygon works.
She waits outside the enemy ant nest and kills the workers.
Yeah, so you got shitty neighbors, Robert.
He pulled the grate.
What's going on? Why am I not getting... Why is it not playing what I'm clicking on? Am I missing something here? How a whale...
They would tranquilize the whale before attaching a giant harness to its back with a big metal bus hanging down under its stomach. And when the whale woke up, it would swim like normal, towing a bus full of people underwater. A diver perched on top would crank a giant paddle to guide the whale, and another held long reins attached to a bit in its mouth, gently steering it left and right. Now, this idea came from a drawing on a postcard made in the early 1900s, showing how people thought we would travel in the future.
Yeah, except that whale would just dive down to like 2,000 feet and completely destroy the hell out of any diving gear you got. No, that's Pixar. All right, my brother, have a good night. All right, let's see.
She lifted her violin and played as doctors cut into her brain. You see, she had been a violinist for decades, but when she was diagnosed with a deadly brain tumor, doctors told her that removing it might damage parts of her brain, meaning she could never perform again. So after they cut open her skull, they made her play the violin while they gently poked different areas of her brain, marking any spots that stopped her from playing correctly. This prevented any damage to important parts of her brain, and after multiple hours, they finally cut most of it out, and the woman still performs to this day. She lifted her violin and...
I wonder what happens if you watch that in like 30 years. And he says she still plays to this day. What if no one came to your funeral? He was 40 years, the toy in his
He inhaled the toy traffic cone when he was 7 years old, and for 40 years, he forgot about it. But as he grew older, he started to cough. Doctors noticed his right lung was getting stiff, and when they shone a light down his airways, they found a suspicious shadow. They told him he had a serious tumor and operated quickly, but instead, they found the toy traffic cone. And after removing it, the man's cough went away. He inhaled.
You saw that one before? That's so freaking crazy. Why grizzly bears only eat parts of salmon. Some milk is better than others. Prisoner duet. Hold on.
He slid his head out of the food slot of his prison cell, then used his yoga training to squeeze his shoulders and arms through. And since he had covered himself in ointment, he managed to slip most of his body out of the 5.9-inch hole. When his hips got stuck, he removed his pants, finally slipping all of the way out. And after putting his pants back on, he snuck past the sleeping guards. One guard was fooled by the decoy pillows in his bed, but when they finally realized he was gone, they sent 400 officers after him. Now, he managed to dodge them for 6 whole days, until they found him on a rooftop, hiding in a cardboard box. They put him back in a cell, this time with a smaller food slot. He slid his...
So then he lost the weight and did it again and again and again and again. How animal guts became music. What?
They would pull out the animal's intestines, then cut them into ribbons and scrape them clean. Next, they were soaked in a solution that ate away the tissue, leaving only the collagen behind. The guts were then stretched on special racks before being twisted into long strings. Doctors would use them to stitch up wounds, and after a few months, the body would absorb them. And these same strings are still used on violins today, meaning your favorite song could be played on animal guts.
That's freaking awesome. I have a violin and painting. It's a Stradivarius and a Rembrandt. Unfortunately, Stradivarius was a terrible painter and Rembrandt made my head. How loose chain turns solid.
If you connect the ends of a metal chain into a circle and place it around a spinning cylinder, each link is pulled tight by the spin, forming a stiff, perfect ring. But if you push that spinning chain off the cylinder, it shoots forward across the floor, and because every link is already moving straight ahead, the spin keeps them locked in that circular path. If you connect the ends of a metal chain...
Man, he just makes videos about anything, huh? How a worm turns a fish blind. Oh, here you go.
The worm digs into the fish's skin, traveling through its tissues and blood vessels until it reaches the eye. And once inside, it starts to turn the fish blind. You see, at the same time, they control its behavior, making it swim closer to the water's surface. This means a bird is more likely to spot.
So this is the crazy thing about parasite control. Yeah, you're having to try. This is the thing about parasite control.
It and catch it. And once it eats the fish with the worm inside, the worm then infects the bird and lays eggs. When the bird poops in the water, these eggs hatch, allowing the worm larva to infect freshwater snails. Inside the snail, they multiply, then escape through its skin. And when they're released into the water, they seek out a new fish and start the cycle again.
Parasites are no joke. Giant bubble.
The giant bubble is inflated over the construction site for the machines to work inside. When they kick up dust, the bubble stops it from polluting the neighborhood, as well as keeping the noise down. And huge fans pull fresh air inside, keeping the workers cool. It measures 15 stories high, covering the same space as 3 football fields, which allows work to continue even in bad weather. And once they're done building, the bubble will be removed, revealing a brand new construction. The giant bubble...
I've never heard of this before.
He sliced open the bear before squeezing himself inside, then waited silently as the police burst into his room. You see, the teenager had stolen a car, then filled it with fuel and left without paying. When police raided his house, he was nowhere to be seen until they noticed a giant teddy bear looking like it was breathing. They pulled the teen out and arrested him, and he was sentenced to 9 months for his crimes. He sliced Coco sat with her caretaker, slowly shaping her hands into signs, learning words. Then, one day, she signed something new. She wanted a cat. So they brought her a tiny gray kitten. The moment she saw him, she held him gently to her chest, cradling him like a baby. And using sign language, she named him All Ball. She brushed his fur, carried him around her room, and signed over and over, Coco Love Ball. But one morning, the kitten slipped outside.
Because Ball hated Coco.
And it was hit by a car. When they broke the news to the gorilla, she mourned it with loud wails. And when they asked her about the cat later, she only signed one single word, cry. Coco sat with her caretaker.
Yeah, now you'd be depressed and have a nightmare, mama. Ancient Florida bog reveals 168 bodies.
They placed the bodies in the water, with their arms tucked in and knees pulled close. Then they placed long wooden stakes around each of them to pin them to the bottom of the bog. This was so the water didn't push them back to the surface, which prevented animals from eating them. Once the bodies settled, a thick layer of dead plants sealed them in like a lid, blocking out air and light and preventing the bodies from decaying. But 8,000 years later, a construction crew hit a human skull. Archaeologists arrived and uncovered 168 burials. They were so well preserved that their stomachs still held their last meals.
Why were the bones on the outside of the
skulls still held chunks of their brain, their bones were still wrapped in burial cloth, and their bodies kept the curled shape they were buried in 8,000 years ago. They placed the body polygon has straight lines, connected together by sides and corners, forming an enclosed space. But since all of the lines are straight, they can only touch at one point, or lay on top of each other. And on paper, the smallest one you can make is a triangle with 3 sides. If you remove one and try to make it with only 2 sides, both lines would have to sit on top of each other, which would leave no space between them, meaning it wouldn't be a polygon. But in 3D, if you draw those same 2 straight lines on a sphere, each line curves with the surface, just like airplane paths curve around the Earth. Now, the 2 lines can meet at one point, travel around the sphere, and meet again on the other side. And those 2 points would create a closed space between them, making a real 2-sided polygon. A polygon.
Well, 6 to 8 is where we're at. And they don't know. This is the problem. They don't know. The problem, this is a huge problem here. So when you stop eating, you stop putting carbon-14 in your body. Right? So that's as far back as you can go, right? So let's see. How to radio date a 8,000-year-old body. Measure the decay of carbon-14. Okay, so collagen from the bones. All right, teeth or hair. The body stops consuming it upon death, meaning it decreases half-life every 5,730 years. Collagen from the bones or teeth is ideal. All right. So it says you can age things. Here's a problem too. So here's a big thing. If you eat more than other people eat, like fat people have more carbon-14 than skinny people. So you have to adjust for that. So it's still a lot of guesswork. I'm telling you, I looked into carbon. I had a band named Carbon-14. I was in a band called Carbon-14. This was 35 years ago. I was into this stuff so long ago. And this is still when I was an atheist. And I learned all about it. And a lot of the stuff is fake. Okay, like right, depending upon the material in question and the weight of the thing. It's so crazy. Carbon-14 with ketchup. I am pretty cool. All right. Let's see what they got to say about that.
Protect your dreams under our roof. American Family Insurance.
LipoBalance Support helps reduce dizziness, spinning, and swaying. And now I don't worry about vertigo.
The guess, and it's a guess on both sides because the Bible doesn't say anything about 6,000 years in particular. It says 2,000 years between what's his face and what's his face? What's his name? They think the flood was 8,000 years ago, I think. Let me see. Hold on, let's double check. I can't remember all the genealogy. But it's it looks like there was 4 or 5, which would have been between 8 and 10,000, not 6 to 8. But let's double check here. Biblical guess on when Noah's flood was. Biblical's gas. Gas on God. Biblical guess. Biblical date. Okay, so it says the flood was 2,348. So it would have been that would have been 4,000 years ago, and then 2,000 years before that would have been what's his face? Damn it, Abraham. And then so maybe I'm wrong about the date, like Fast and the Furious 7. Again through all of this conjecture. There's a lot of conjecture. Right, but the thing is that we can only here's the big thing. Here's the big thing. radiocarbon dating can only go back, by doing the math, there will be 0 carbon-14 between 50 and 60,000 years. So we can't go back that far. So how do they guess? How do they say millions and millions and millions of years old? They don't know. It's a theory, right? They say, well, if you keep extrapolating it, there's 0 carbon-14 left after 50 to 60,000 years. But then again, they don't know because nobody was there at 50, 60,000. There could have been more or less carbon-14 in the atmosphere and in the food. We don't know. And because of plate tectonics, that things get moved back in. We have all kinds of events. You are radio dated. I sent you a radio dated 1974 earlier. But yeah, this shit's cool. I love it. The thing is, I love how much more I think about science since I've been reading the Bible. It's amazing because when you start looking at it and then you start seeing that there's not a lot of published data on there is lots of published data, but it's just not made popular. So like there's a whole another side of science, creationist science, that talks backwards about let me see if I can find something real quick. Yeah, let's just watch something cool real quick. This stuff's cool. I tell you who's cool is the what are those guys' names? Live on the other side of the planet. Australians. Yeah, they got a lot of cool stuff there. Wow, first one. Assumptions on rate.
What are the assumptions behind radiometric dating?
Well, let me give you an example. Imagine you walked into a bathroom and you saw a tap running, filling the bathtub. And you said, well, I want to work out how long it took to fill the bathtub.
That's where I'm at, brother.
The first thing you do, how many litres are in the bathtub? Say 100 litres. And then you measure the flow rate of the tap and say it's running at 10 litres per minute. So then you go, oh, well, it must have taken 10 minutes to fill the bathtub. But you made assumptions when you said that because you assumed the bathtub was empty when it started. Might have been half full or half empty or whatever you like. You assumed the flow rate of the tap was the same, but it may have slowed in the past or sped up or been turned off. All those assumptions could have occurred in the past that you were not there to see. You used currently operating processes and measurements to make a determination on how long it took to fill the bathtub. The reality is you could not know how long it took to fill the bathtub.
Right. So when it takes, how long does it take you to gain this much carbon-14 in your body? We don't know. And do what we eat now, do we gain more or less than they used to in the past? So by using the decay of carbon-14, we don't know how much carbon-14 started in the person's body to say there's half as much as there was before, because we don't know. It's best guess. It's almost like you have faith in it. Right, exactly. Exactly.
Doesn't radiometric dating prove rocks are millions, if not billions of years old?
No. I mean, you can use real science to measure the amount of radioisotopes in your sample, but you don't know how much was in it when the rock was formed.
Right.
And in fact, they use a method called potassium argon for measuring volcanic rocks. And when they use it on rocks of known age, like when Mount St. Helens erupted in 1986, the lava, solidified lava, gave dates of 350,000 to up to 2 million years.
Which is obviously wrong.
For rocks that were just a few years old. So what they're doing is making assumptions about the past for that particular sample. And we were not there to witness those past events, and that's the issue.
People like to lie for popularity, for clout, for yeah, right. No, everybody has faith. Absolutely. I've been carbon dated. I'm 49. No, yeah. Lamb's a good guy. He's just me and Lamb are friends and business compatriots. What's the evidence that what you put through your faith actually is true, though? Right. So and the problem is if people have faith in atheist science, but so much of it is so easily proven wrong, and they talk, but if you say it confidently enough, it seems true. It makes sense. Those are teachers. Those are those are professors. You know.
What are
How does the Earth's magnetic field actually show that the Earth is young?
Well, since magnets have a maximum strength,
Right.
and we know that the Earth's magnetic field has been decreasing ever since we measured it, if you take that rate of decrease from today's value and back up, it can't be millions of years old. The magnetic field is weakening over time. That shows us that the magnetic field is only a few thousand years old.
How does the Earth's magnetic field...
Right, so he doesn't say how many thousand. I'm not an atheist, by the way. Yeah, me too, absolutely. 100%, brother. 100%. I don't play around. I ain't messing around with that freaking crap. They're all liars. They're all liars. Because they can't prove anything, and they say it like it's gospel. They are an opposing religion. It's the religion of atheism.
What are the...
Putting the Bible aside, is there any scientific evidence that the Earth isn't billions of years old?
There's a lot of scientific evidence that the Earth is not billions of years old. We can use carbon dating. All forms of carbon in the fossil record contains carbon-14. It can't be millions of years old because carbon-14 breaks down too fast. We can look at, known volcanic lava flows, how old they are, and we date them to millions of years. Well, clearly they can't be millions of years old if we saw it happen. So we can question different forms of radiometric dating. We can look at how fast rivers are eroding continents and realize that the continents should be below sea level after just a couple of million years, and yet they're still there because they haven't been there for millions of years. There's lots and lots of evidences. Creation.com is a great resource for answers.
To see creationists talk as scientifically as scientific atheists, there's another side of the story. It's just not promoted to us. It's not promoted. At the moment, I am in disbelief, but I'm going to keep an open mind. Yeah, better keep an open mind. The problem is, with not having an open mind, is people, like the obvious lies that are promoted as, we were doing a live stream a few months ago when they were talking about dating the rock on Mars. And I just did a quick Google search. What sensors on the Mars probe is there for dating rock? There is no sensors on. Then how did they even say that? Oh, well, it looks like other stuff. No, they're guessing, and they just want the news. You found 10 billion year old rocks on Mars. Yes, we did. We sure did. We found it with our freaking pencil. No, you didn't. They're liars. They're liars. This is pretty interesting, too. Let's see. Look at this.
How does the Earth's magnetic field...
What's the problem for Christians adding millions of years to the creation?
How does the Earth's magnetic...
Where's the gold one? Where's the gold one?
Can gold really form in a day?
Yes, gold can form very, very quickly. There was some research work done at a mine in Canada which found that gold doesn't actually come out of solution and precipitate like that, but it's actually carried in the fluid as a very fine particles, and it's called a colloid. And so with a slight change in chemistry, the colloid can flocculate and form these large fluffy particles which can easily be precipitated. And as a matter of fact, a vein of gold, high purity gold, can be deposited in less than a day by this process.
Can gold really form in...
We're told about gold. And the thing is, if you think about a vein of gold, if it was tens of millions of years old, the geologic formations, the earthquakes and everything, you wouldn't have beautiful, perfect veins of gold in most cases that we find. If there were volcanic reactions a few thousand years ago last week, and then the gold is just cool enough to see, we don't have any idea. I once dated a carbon and a nice meal. I love this stuff. I love seeing, and the thing is, like, a lot of these guys, they can go as complex as you want to. One of the really kick-ass things that I saw, that I stumbled across, and then I saw a video about it a few days later, was RNA, the backbone, the polypeptide backbone of RNA only lasts 4 hours in perfect temperature and humidity controlled laboratory settings. Any water gets into them, they hydrolyze and they go away. RNA could not have accidentally formed in the water. Water destroys it, and it only lasts 4 hours. So you get these people saying over billions and billions of years it could have eventually. No, it could have never have. If it accidentally formed in 4 hours, it would be gone. So you would never have more than 4 hours for RNA to keep adapting to get to turn into DNA and do anything. There's a great video called Genesis is True. We found Joseph on Middle Kingdom Egypt archaeology. I love that track, mama. Let's see. Genesis is True. Phil was a bit worse for wear. Yeah, I love this stuff, dude. I love calling out liars.
If you dig deep enough into the mud of the Nile Delta, you eventually hit a layer of history that makes Egyptologists very uncomfortable. For 200 years, the timeline of the Bible and the timeline of secular history have been at war. We're told that the patriarchs are myths. Critics insist there's no evidence for a population of Semitic shepherds living in Egypt during the Middle Kingdom, and that the Exodus is a fairy tale because no record exists of a Hebrew slave becoming a prince of Egypt. But they're looking in the wrong place, and they're looking for the wrong man. Scholars often search for a character from a Sunday school flannel board, a boy in a Technicolor Dreamcoat who acts nice and forgives his brothers. But the Joseph of history, the Joseph who actually walked on this earth, he wasn't just a nice guy. He was a master strategist. Scripture tells us in Psalm 105 that Pharaoh made him lord of his house and the ruler of all of his substance, to bind his princes at his pleasure and teach his senators wisdom. He was the most brilliant, ruthless, and effective political operator of the ancient world. He didn't just survive Egypt, he broke it. He took a decentralized, feudal mess of warlords and forged it into the first true superpower of the Bronze Age. He's there in the record, his face is on the statues, his name is in the King's List. You just have to know what you're looking for. Today we're going to walk into the ruins of Avaris. We're going to brush away the sand from a Syrian palace that probably shouldn't exist. And we're going to look at the face of the man who sold the world to Pharaoh. But before we dig up the governor, I want to make sure that you've got the tools to follow this investigation. The timeline we're talking about is a little complex, and if you're just listening now, it can be hard to visualize where the Middle Kingdom ends and where the Hyksos period begins and where all of these pieces fit together. So I've put together a full visual timeline graphic and a free preview of a chapter of my upcoming book, Dynasty of Slaves. It maps all of this out for you. It breaks down the dynasties and the dates and the archaeological layers we're discussing today. The only way to get it is to join my email newsletter. It's completely free. It's where I share the raw research, the book updates, and some of the deep dive content that doesn't make
do that. They want to be able to profit off of their research. So his theory and everything and the evidence that he has put together, he's selling a book on what he sold on it. That's what they do. That's what everybody does, whether you're secular or religious. You've got to get your data out there. And the thing is, they don't want their data that's made that they've built this huge educational industrial complex on all this bullshit that now has evidence against it. They don't. It's too financially damning, and people don't want to be called like, oh, dude, you should have just read the Bible. You just spent all this year. Yeah,
make it onto YouTube. So click the link in the description, sign up, and I'll send you the timeline and the book preview directly to your inbox. Okay, now that's out of the way. Let's get back to 1670 BC.
Have you ever begot a thing before making a proclamation? I begot and proclaimed.
In Egypt, the Nile isn't just water. It's a god named Hapi. For thousands of years, Hapi makes a promise to swell the banks of the Nile River in the season of inundation. He promises to deposit the black silt from the Ethiopian highlands onto the fields, ensuring that if the pharaoh maintains Ma'at, which is the cosmic order, the people will eat. The entire civilization is built on this single fragile wager. The pyramids, the temples, the golden masks, they all depend on it. But in the late 12th dynasty, the water stops rising. The records of this time are terrifying, describing a Nile that is lazy and low.
Lisa O'Connell.
The canals turn into cracked mud.
When I was
The green
17
belt
after
of the
church.
delta
Good
begins
old
to
Lisa.
recede, turning a sickly yellow-brown as the desert starts to creep
Good old
in.
Lisa.
For the first time in centuries, the people of Egypt look at their gods and realize they're silent. Hapi, for all intents and purposes, is dead. And when the river dies, the politics explode.
Right.
The reality is, Egypt at this moment isn't one big happy family. It isn't the unified empire of Ramesses that we see in the movies. It's a fractured feudal mess. The real power isn't in the royal palace, it's held by the nomarchs. These are the regional governors, local warlords who rule over their provinces like little kings. They command private armies and enforce their own tax systems, paying only lip service, really, to the pharaoh while answering to no one. But most importantly, the nomarchs control their own private granaries. For generations, these warlords have been hoarding the wealth of the Nile. They're proud, independent feudal holdouts who refuse to let the central government rule. But hunger has a way of...
If people find out that the religion that your government is based on is false, if people find out that your atheism is wrong, you lose all the power for the people that have said what they were so confident in, that we've got all the evidence that your religion's false and ours is correct. And that's what happened here. It looked like their God has died. Because the things that are supposed to be happening aren't happening. So people's like, what do you mean? We've given all of our crops to you. We've done this for thousands of years. We've given you our taxes. We've given you our children. And that's what they don't want to happen. They don't want it to fall apart. Like the Democrats are gone if God is real, because you have all the people that are godless on that side, more people on the conservative side that, so that's huge. They don't want that found out.
Of humbling even the proudest
What's the
warlord.
problem? What will happen if
As the famine grinds on year after year,
so you have the news,
the private
people in the news that would be the people that would disseminate this information to us. Well, they're working for the government. They're propaganda, so they're not going to say, "Oops, well, look at this. Looks like all these people were wrong," and it looks like it's looking more and more likely that
piles of the nomarchs begin to run dry. The local peasants start rioting. The private armies are starving. The warlords look at their empty silos and realize they have a choice: keep their pride and die, or swallow their pride and beg. So a procession begins. I can imagine them traveling north, the boats of the great southern lords drifting down the shrinking Nile, heading toward the delta and the fortress city of Avaris. They arrive at the royal storehouses, hats in hand, desperate for grain and ready to make a deal with the pharaoh. But when the doors of the administration center open, they aren't met by a pharaoh at all. They aren't even met by a traditional Egyptian priest with a shaven head and a leopard skin robe. They're met by a foreigner. He's a young man, about 30 years old. Although clean-shaven in the Egyptian style, his features are unmistakably Semitic. He's carrying a throw stick, the symbol of a shepherd, and it rests casually against his shoulder. He'd be wearing royal linen, a gift from the pharaoh, but he speaks with the accent of a Canaanite. He looks at these starving warlords, the men who have ignored the throne for centuries, and he tells them, "I have the grain. The silos are full. The king has prepared for this."
When they're divorced and the
The
Pope wasn't
warlords
keen on
ask for
that.
the price, and they expect a
Yep.
tax or a fee, of course. But the foreigner shakes his head. He doesn't want their money or their gold. He wants their land. The Bible records the desperation of the moment in Genesis 47. The people cry out, "Why should we die before your eyes? Buy us and our land for food, and we, with our land, will be servants to Pharaoh." So the deal is struck. Verse 20 confirms the hostile takeover. It says, "And Joseph bought all the land of Egypt for Pharaoh, so the land became Pharaoh's." This is the moment the middle kingdom of Egypt is dismantled. The warlords sign the papers, the grain is released, and the rulers of foreign lands, called the Hyksos dynasty, begins. Historians like Manetho call them invaders, claiming they conquered without a battle. But looking at the broader scope of history, we know the truth. They didn't invade.
A few friction.
They just bought the place. And in the rest of this story, we're going to look at the so-called invasion that didn't actually happen, the linguistic connection between Joseph's political title and the name of the mysterious Hyksos king, the discovery of a curious statue of a Semitic man wearing a
You know, we're gonna watch a little bit more of this, and then I'm gonna call it. I'm gonna speed it up a little bit. How you doing, Mr. Red? The Church of England low-key answers the Vatican, though, right? I know king is considered leader. Yeah. I'll let Lamb answer that.
Colored coat. How the Hyksos consolidated their power in exactly the same way Joseph did in Genesis. And finally, I'll end this investigation with the nail in the coffin connection that's too mind-blowing to mention or ignore. But first, the invasion that wasn't an invasion at all. If you open a standard history textbook to the year 1650 BC, you're going to find a very strange story.
So real quick, I want to. There's a lot of things in the Bible about slavery and servitude, and you see here the story about these people asked, they begged to be servants. They said, "We are going to die. Don't just take our land and us as servants." So like not all servitude is chattel slavery. It's not all, we don't even consider you humans. It's if our entire continent doesn't get food, we're all gonna die. And so please take our land and us, let us serve you for food. And that's exactly what's going on right now. You have people saying, let us give you our votes for food stamps and the such. Our country sucks. Take us and use us. Make sure you feed us and give us wealth, and we will pick your strawberries. It's the same story. The story is old as time.
Historians call this the Second Intermediate Period.
But not all slaves
It's considered a dark
are
age, a time
captured
of chaos
slaves.
and collapse. And if you ask a traditional Egyptologist what happened, they'll tell you that suddenly, out of nowhere, a mysterious race of invaders called the Hyksos swarmed across the border. They quote an ancient Egyptian historian named Manetho. Writing over 1,000 years later in the 3rd century BC, Manetho claims that these invaders of an obscure race had the audacity to invade the country. He writes, and he says this, "In the reign of King Dudamos, for what cause I know not, a blast of God smote us, and men of obscure race invaded the land." Manetho admits something crucial here. He says they conquered easily and without a battle. But then he pivots to violence. He claims they burned the cities and demolished the temples and treated the natives with cruel hostility, enslaving women and children. It sounds terrifying and violent. It sounds like an ancient blitzkrieg. But here's the problem. When archaeologists dig into the ground at the city of Avaris, the capital of these Hyksos kings, they don't find a war. The primary excavator of this site is Dr. Manfred Bietak. He spent decades peeling back the layers of the delta here. And when he reached the layers corresponding to the rise of the Hyksos, he found essentially nothing. There's no destruction layer from this time. There are no burnt walls. There are no mass graves of soldiers defending the border. There is no evidence of any kind of siege. The invasion is a ghost. It never really happened. So we have a mystery. How do you conquer the greatest empire on earth without a battle? How do foreigners take over the throne of pharaohs without firing a single arrow? You do it the way all peaceful takeovers happen. The politics of economics. There's no war to find in the dirt of Avaris because we're actually looking for an administrative takeover based on economics. We're looking for a new deal that would make Wilson and Roosevelt blush. What archaeology confirms is a slow, peaceful infiltration. We see Semitic pottery styles appearing gradually, then Semitic housing, and then Semitic burial customs. The population of Avaris starts as a small group of guests, then grows into a multitude, and finally, they're the ones running the administration. Manetho was right about one thing. They took the country without a fight. But he was wrong about the fire and sword. His take is most likely Egyptian propaganda.
So in the host it is the blood of the body of Christ, and the wine is the blood of Christ. There's a lot of very interesting, even modern day miracles showing DNA and on the consecrated host, which is very, very interesting stuff. And the interesting thing is, look into it, because you also have people that went and bought a bulk order of hosts from supply shops and then put them under microscopes. They're like, yep, this is bread. Right. Well, there's tradition involved. There's prayer involved, and most people like the one interesting thing to look at is cats. Cats purring, the rhythm at what cats, the frequency that cats purr repairs their body. Like, and this isn't pseudoscience. Cats purring repairing their body. Cats purr at a frequency of 25 to 150 hertz, therapeutically linked to promoting bone repair, healing soft tissues, reducing pain, and lowering inflammation. So, sound can repair the body. Is it necessarily just the sound? Can the sound alone do the trick, or is it the cat praying for healing, so to speak? And if that's the cat's way of doing it, is there not also a way for us humans to do it? Is there not a way for us to ask for? I think a lot of the people that come across my channel that are sick and ask for help, and I give them help, and then they say, this helps me, and they say, I was praying for this. Well, that's cool. Maybe you just came across here. Maybe it's a coincidence. Maybe God made it happen. Maybe frickin' the flying spaghetti monster made it happen. Regardless, somebody got better. If there's ways for people to not feel as bad as they are on this planet, who are we to turn them away? Yeah, and this is the big thing. A lot of religions use bread as a metaphor, absolutely, and so we have a lot of stuff to dig through. You can't have a cursory glance, you can't a shallow glance at something. You've got to look into everything. The real presence was standard doctrine until the Protestant Reformation in the 1500s, but it's genuine belief that the Christ's blood is flesh, like the consecration and Penn Teller's get right. The sound and vibrating thing links to the law of attraction and Hermes Trismegistus. Wow, I gotta look that up. I don't know if you ever heard that word before. I haven't seen that word before. The thing is, there is no negative for people to believe that you should treat others fairly, that we were made by a creator, and the other people that we see on this planet flying through space is also made by that creator. So therefore, we shouldn't treat them like shit. Yeah, and if someone says, I'm dying, my country has gone to crap, I need help, please take me as a slave, you can't take them as a slave ethically. And this is a big thing people get on to me about. There's slavery in the Bible. There's slavery in life. There's servitude in life. We go to work for companies. We trade our time on this planet for money. Just because you don't consider it slavery or servitude doesn't mean it's not. Now, there's levels to everything, absolutely. But the point is, there will always be people that fall off and then need other people's help and will trade their time on this planet for that help. Bam.
With a little bit of historical fact. Historians call them the Hyksos. The Bible calls them the family of Jacob. And I'm going to show you that they are the exact same people. So if they weren't invaders, who were they? And more importantly, who was their leader? In criminal investigations, names are like fossils. They get buried under centuries of dirt, they get compressed by translation, and they get distorted by time. But if you know how to brush off the dust, the original shape is still there. Manetho gives us the name of the very first Hyksos king. He calls him Salatis.
Yes, sir.
Now, Salatis is not an Egyptian name. It doesn't mean anything in the Egyptian language. For centuries, this name has baffled Egyptologists. They just assume it's some foreign barbarian word that got garbled in translation. But if you know your Hebrew, and you know your Bible, that name should set off an alarm in your brain. Salatis is the Greek transliteration of a very specific Semitic word, shalit. And what does shalit mean? It doesn't mean king. The Hebrew word for king is melech. That's the root of the name Melchizedek. Shalit is something else. It means the ruler or the governor. It's a title for a man who holds absolute authority, but authority that has been delegated from somebody else. Now, I want you to turn your Bibles to Genesis chapter 42, verse 6 with me. Look at how the text describes Joseph at the height of his power. It doesn't just call him a prince. It uses a very specific technical title. It says, now Joseph was the governor over the land. The Hebrew word there, ha-shalit. Do you see what just happened? The Bible calls Joseph the shalit. The Egyptian history books record the very first Semitic ruler as Salatis. It's the same title. It's the same man. Manetho writes that this king Salatis was famous for one specific administrative action. He didn't build pyramids. He didn't fight wars. Manetho says he measured corn. Think about that. If you know the story of Joseph, it's definitely starting to ring some bells. Of all the things a historian could remember about a king, his battles, his wives, his monuments, Manetho remembers that he was obsessed with the grain supply. He controlled the economy with an iron fist by controlling the corn.
You'll get there, brother.
Now, does that look familiar to you?
The seeds were
We're
planted.
looking at Joseph here, the Grand Vizier, the man who saved the known world by controlling the corn in Egypt. To the starving Egyptians, he wasn't just a bureaucrat. He was the man with the keys to life. He was the Shalit. And this changes the entire narrative of who the Hyksos actually were. The word Hyksos comes from the Egyptian phrase Hekakashut, or Hekashet. For a long time, historians translated this as shepherd kings, but modern Egyptology has corrected that. It literally translates to rulers of foreign lands. It was the title given to the chieftains of the Semitic tribes living in the Delta. It was the title given to Joseph and his family as they consolidated power. They weren't invaders. They were the administration. They were the ones keeping the lights on when the Nile went dark. But we don't just have a name. Surprisingly, we actually have a face. This is where the investigation moves from linguistics to hard evidence, specifically at the archaeological site of Tel El Daba, the ancient city of Avaris, capital of the Hyksos. For years, this site was just a mound of dirt in the Delta, but starting in the 1960s, the Austrian Archaeological Institute, led by Manfred Bietak, began to dig. It's important to note that Bietak is a secular archaeologist, not trying to prove the Bible. He's simply recording what he finds in the ground, which is the best type of archaeologist in my opinion.
When I was 17, yep.
What he found in Stratum D2, the layer dating to the late 12th and early 13th dynasty, shouldn't exist in Egypt, at least not according to the official story. He uncovered the foundations of a massive residential complex, but it wasn't an Egyptian house. It was a palace.
Tell you what's so awesome is you have secular archaeologists that find things that lead to more credence to biblical truths. And it's almost like if you think about the stories about how people that are not on the path to God, but then they find this and they're like, oh, wow, maybe I need to look at this Bible thing a little closer.
Built in the style of a Syrian...
He's put on a mission he doesn't know he's on, and then it leads him closer to
Tel
Christ.
Sa'al. It's the middle house style. This is the kind of mansion you would find in a Canaan or Syrian or northern Mesopotamian area, a Semitic architectural design planted right in the middle of the Egyptian Delta.
There's a lot to answer.
And who lives in a house like that?
Your soul.
Well, it belonged to a high-ranking official who was incredibly wealthy and powerful, yet refused to fully assimilate. He didn't want to live like an Egyptian noble. He wanted to live like a Hebrew patriarch. He was a man who walked into the halls of Pharaoh, but when he went home at night, he wanted to feel like he was back in his hill country of Canaan. But the house isn't the only thing that matches the Bible. It's the backyard, too. In the garden, behind this massive villa, archaeologists found a private family cemetery containing exactly 12 main tombs arranged around the central courtyard. Now stop and think about that for a moment. Who is the famous Hebrew patriarch with 12 sons? It's Jacob. The archaeology shows us a massive Semitic clan living in the best land of Egypt, governed by a single family of 12 leaders. Among these 12 tombs, however, one was different. 11 of them were standard monumental graves, but the 12th was a small pyramid tomb. In the Middle Kingdom, you don't give a pyramid tomb to a foreigner or a shepherd. You give that to a pharaoh or a queen. This is a royal honor, reserved for someone with the highest status in the land. Inside that tomb chapel, they found the fragments of a colossal limestone statue. Although it had been smashed in antiquity by someone wanting to erase this man's memory, enough of the fragments remained for archaeologists to reconstruct the figure. The statue depicts a man sitting on a throne with three distinct features. First, his skin is pale yellow, a specific Egyptian art code for Asiatics or Semites, as opposed to the reddish-brown Egyptians. Second, his hair is styled in a massive red mushroom coif, a distinctively non-Egyptian style typical of the northern Semitic tribes. And third, resting against his shoulder in his right hand is a throw stick, not a scepter or a weapon of war, but the tool of a shepherd used to guide sheep. We're looking at a Semitic ruler living in a Syrian palace in the Delta, surrounded by 12 family tombs, buried with royal honors and holding a shepherd's staff. But the detail that seals it is the paint. Faint traces of paint clinging to the statue's shoulder revealed that he wasn't wearing white linen, which would have been typical for royals. He was wearing a striped, multicolored coat of black, red, white, and blue. We're looking at the face of Joseph here. We are looking at the Shalit. But the mystery doesn't end with the statue. It ends with the body.
Definitely
when the archaeologists opened the burial chamber beneath the pyramid, they expected to find a mummy, gold, and maybe some jewelry. Instead, the tomb was empty. You might think it was grave robbers, which is a fair guess in Egypt. But grave robbers are predictable. They take the gold and leave the bones because bones are worthless. In fact, they usually trash the mummy looking for amulets. In this tomb, it was the opposite. There was no gold left, sure, but there was no bones either. The sarcophagus was clean. Why would a thief steal a skeleton? Well, they wouldn't, is the truth, but a family would. Turn to Exodus chapter 13, verse 19. It says this, "And Moses took the bones of Joseph with him, for he had straitly sworn the children of Israel, saying, God will surely visit you, and you shall carry up my bones away hence with you." When the Israelites left Egypt in the middle of the chaos of the plagues, they didn't just grab their dough and their gold. They went to the garden of the old Syrian palace, opened the pyramid tomb of their ancestor, and honored their oath. They carried the bones of the dreamer out of Egypt and took them home to the promised land. So we have the man, we have his name, and we have his statue. But now we have to ask a hard question about how he used that power. The story of Joseph is often taught as a nice moral lesson about forgiveness, which it is, that's true. But politically, it's a thriller. It's closer to The Godfather than it is to It's a Wonderful Life. And if you read Genesis 47 carefully, it's actually pretty terrifying. When the famine hit, Joseph didn't just give the food away. He wasn't running a charity, after all, he was running a state. And he used the crisis to execute one of the most aggressive political takeovers in human history. The Bible is very honest about the steps of his consolidation. Step 1, the liquidation of capital. First, the people spent all their money. Joseph collected every silver ring, every gold deben, and every piece of currency in Egypt and in Canaan. He brought it all into Pharaoh's house. Step 2, the liquidation of assets. When the money was gone, the people cried out for bread. Joseph said, "Give me your livestock." So they brought him horses and flocks and herds, their donkeys. He stripped the people of their independent wealth and transferred it to the crown. And then step 3, the liquidation of freedom. Finally, when they had nothing left, they came to him and said, "Buy us and our land for bread, and we and our land will be servants to Pharaoh." And Joseph did it. Genesis 47:20 records the sale. It says, "And Joseph bought all the land of Egypt for Pharaoh, for the Egyptians sold every man his field because the famine prevailed over them. So the land became Pharaoh's." Think about what that means politically. For centuries, the Middle Kingdom has been paralyzed by those feudal holdouts, the local warlords we talked about in the beginning. They owned their own land, and they were completely independent. In one stroke, Joseph wiped them out. He dismantled the feudal system. He stripped the warlords of their power bases. He centralized all the wealth, all the land, and all of the authority into the hands of the king. He destroyed the old order and created the absolute monarchy of the new kingdom. This was a process that had begun generations earlier, actually. The archaeological record shows the diminishing power of the nomarchs for a while, but Joseph's economic policy, mixed with the brutal famine, was the final straw. Now, his intentions were good. He wanted to save people from starvation. He was acting as a wise steward for his boss. But in doing so, he built a machine of absolute power. Later in the Bible, in Deuteronomy 4:20, God calls Egypt the iron furnace, Kur ha-barzel. It's an industrial term. It means a smelting furnace used to refine metal. And Joseph is the one who built it. This is the dark irony of the story. Joseph saved his family from starvation, but by centralizing absolute power, he created the very weapon that would eventually be turned against them. He was the savior who ended up building the cage. And the tragedy of history is that as long as a pharaoh who knew Joseph was on the throne, that machine protected the Israelites. The Hebrews lived in the best of the land, in Goshen. They prospered, they multiplied, they were the protected class of the administration. And so Joseph constructed the perfect weapon for a tyrant. He centralized the economy and enslaved the population to the state. And he didn't realize that a few generations later, a new king would arise, a king who didn't care about Joseph, and he would find his weapon waiting for him. He would turn it against the very people who built it. But the story of the dynasty doesn't end with Joseph. Okay, Scott, if Joseph was the first Hyksos king, who was the second? Did the dynasty continue, or did it fall apart when he died? Manetho gives us the answer, and once again, the linguistics are incredible. In Manetho's list of Hyksos kings, the successor of Salatis, that's Joseph, is a king named Benon. Now, just like Salatis, Benon is total gibberish in Egyptian. It has no root, no meaning, and no history in the hieroglyphic language. But in Hebrew, it's crystal clear. Benon is a perfect Greek transliteration of the Hebrew word Benoni. Does that name ring a bell? Well, turn back in Genesis 35, verse 18. We're on the road to Bethlehem. Jacob's beloved wife, Rachel, she's the mother of Joseph. She's in labor again. The text says, "And it came to pass as her soul was in departing, for she died, that she called his name Benoni, but his father called him Benjamin." It means son of my sorrow. But his father, Jacob, refuses to let that be his destiny. He renames him Benjamin, which means son of my right hand. Benjamin was Joseph's full brother. They were the only two sons of Rachel, Jacob's beloved wife. They were the dreamer and the right hand. When Joseph rose to power, the Bible tells us he had a special affection for Benjamin. At the feast in Genesis 43, he gives Benjamin 5 times as much food as the others. He tests his brothers to see if they will betray Benjamin like they betrayed him. So, when Joseph, the Shalite, King Salatis, finally died at the age of 110, who took the keys to the kingdom? Well, it didn't go to Ephraim or Manasseh right away, his Egyptian-born sons. It seems that the leadership of his Semitic dynasty stayed with the Rachel line. The second shepherd king of Egypt was Ben-Oni, King Benon. This gives us a picture of the Hyksos period that is radically different from the barbarian invasion story that the Egyptologists tried to tell. We aren't looking at a chaotic rotation of warlords. We're looking at a family business. They held the throne, they held the military, they held the economy. And for nearly 100 years, the shepherd kings ruled the Delta. They built the city of Avaris into a massive, thriving metropolis. They controlled the trade routes to Canaan. They imported olive oil, wine, and textiles. And they lived like princes. They were the head and not the tail, above only and not beneath, like Deuteronomy 28:13 says. But that is exactly where the danger is hiding. So let's zoom out and look at a big picture of this investigation. We started with a mystery, the question of who were the Hyksos. History told us they were invaders who conquered without a battle. Archaeology told us there was no war, only a massive Semitic settlement.
But yeah,
linguistics told us their first king was named.
The important thing to do is keep learning everything, and you'll get to the point that we are created. That is the point. There is, the more I learned about engineering, the more I learned about programming, the more I learned about everything else, everything points towards it. There's so much evidence. So even if, and I've done things, I've looked up many different theologies, and the thing that makes the most sense to me, especially once I decided, okay, we're created, now what? Now I started consuming content about that stuff, and then I'm like, okay, the big thing is Jesus, okay? Every major religion has Jesus involved, and they all say Jesus is kick-ass guy. He's great. He was one of the ways, but we're one of the ways too. And the big thing is, okay, well, what did Jesus have to say? And that's how I got to where I'm at.
Governor,
have you heard of the Holy
Shalite,
Scriptures?
and their second king was named Son of My Sorrow.
Yes, I've read the Book of Mormon. Supposedly it was told to God by poorly translated, and he took the opportunity to correct it. Yes, I'm very familiar. Everything points back to God. Everything leads back to our Creator, Jesus. Right, and this is the thing. There is zero downside to understanding that. There's zero downside. I agree with that. Jesus' teachings were much more profound to learn as an adult. Yes, right. And most of us are swayed away from religion as youths. So a decision we made as kids, like getting a tattoo on our face, which usually seems dumb when we're older and we think about it, but most people turn away from religion young and immature, and they never go back to visit it. Or if they do, they're like, yep, I was a dumb kid, because you don't have all that. Also, I read a lot of good books. The Lord was quite vocal back in the day, according to the reports. Why not now? So when you cut ties with God, you cut that line of communication. You're let go. You have to be the one that say, I messed up. Please take my call. It's that call from jail. Mom, I messed up. Dad, I messed up. Can you come pick me up? That's the call you need to make. That's how I see it, at least. There's a line of communication. I constantly get redirected and pointed on what to talk about, what to read, what to learn, what to speak about with you guys on the stream, everything. I have this guidance. Everything's heading me in a direction of growth and teaching, and that's absolutely, my life wasn't like that before. Absolutely wasn't. So when that line of communication is severed, you're like, I don't hear him. I don't hear God. I don't hear that. I believe that's why. I believe we've cut off communication. We've unplugged the Ethernet cable to the main server in the sky, and you need someone else's help to plug that back in. Jesus was an outlaw. How turned water into wine. Yeah, he did do that. He was definitely an outlaw. Yes. Most of my friends who left the faith did so before age 25. Right. Yeah, absolutely. Listen. most people that bring stuff up to me is stuff that the arguments we had when we were 16, 17, 18 years old about God, no way, God freaking no. And they're the same thing. So I know that these people haven't thought about it anymore. They've heard other people say, here's other reasons why God doesn't exist. And they've picked them up over time to just reaffirm their delusion. But yeah, it doesn't work like that. It's not rebellion. It's studying the Hebrew scripture. Jesus doesn't qualify as the Messiah. Most Christians do not study the scriptures. Most do not study the scriptures. But you're incorrect about Jesus doesn't qualify as the Messiah. Joseph and Mary were both on the side. Were both on. Can't think of the term I want to use. They were both from King David's bloodline. Both sides of them. And then there's still the get out of jail free card that says God was Mary's, or God was Jesus's father, so that gives you a direct inclination anyway. But still, yeah, I reason that I'm respectful enough to understand that it's a journey for me. It's a journey, right? Because God already gave us this right, exactly. Jesus literally calls himself the Messiah in John 15. What are you talking about? You're focused on the New Testament. Do you even know how qualifications are for Messiah? Yes, sir, I do. I read it quite a bit. I don't want to argue with you, Dale. I would prefer you just give me the scripture that you're talking about, and we can clear it up. But because I'm not going to just argue about semantics. But yes, I'm very familiar. I wasn't for 45 years. And
the ground itself gave us a statue of a Semitic official wearing a coat of many colors, buried in a pyramid with no bones inside. To me, the verdict is clear. The dynasty of slaves began as a dynasty of kings. They weren't invaded by the Hyksos. They were the Hyksos. We love to quote Genesis 50, verse 20. It's the verse we put on coffee mugs and the verse we use to comfort ourselves when things go wrong sometimes. It says, "But as for you, you thought evil against me, but God meant it unto good, to bring to pass, as it is this day, to save much people alive." And it is an encouraging verse. It's true. It's beautiful, and it's wonderful. God used betrayal and the pit and the prison and the famine to position Joseph to save Israel and many more. But there's a dark side to that verse that we rarely talk about. What happens when the good turns sour? What happens when the provision becomes a prison? God meant it for good to save people alive. That was the mission, survival. But once the famine was over, why did they stay for so long? Why did they get comfortable in avarice? Why did they build palaces and adopt Egyptian titles? They stayed because the good felt too good to leave. They traded the tent of Abraham for the palace of avarice. They traded the promise of a rugged land in Canaan for the luxury of the Nile Delta. And they preferred the power of Goshen over the purpose of God. And that is the trap of success. You see, Goshen was never meant to be a permanent address. It was a shelter from the storm. It was a place to weather the famine. But the family of Jacob treated it like a destination. They fell in love with the system Joseph built and the influence and the comfort that he brought them. And because they wouldn't leave on their own, God had.
I used to use the same arguments he's using, and I finally looked into it. I finally spent a good 3 months reading the. I mean, it took a year to get through the book. I've got this. This is a very good thing that I have on hand here. Well, let me show this. So this is and this isn't my paper Bible. This is my Bible app here. Dale says incorrect. You don't know the family lines that stayed in the New Testament to Matthew. Brother, just give me the verses. I don't want. Give me the verses. I don't care what you have to say unless you have something tied to it. You can talk all you want. I mean, yeah. So I mean, we can do this real quick. Mentions of Jesus in the Old Testament. Okay, lineage and birth. The Messiah is foretold to be a descendant of David. Okay, that's one. Nature and mission. Isaiah describes the Messiah, the mighty God, everlasting Father, Isaiah 6:7. He is referred to as the branch in Zechariah, the suffering servant. This chapter, Isaiah 53, chapter revised often, slight description of the Messiah. Okay, betrayal prophesied in 41. The triumphal entry in Zechariah 9:9. So all of this. So while all these are foundational Christian beliefs, it's important to note that interpretation of the text predicting Jesus is an ongoing dialogue and debate. So I have Jews here also, but you can't. There is no absolutely not. Yeah, that's up to your faith, my friend. Tell me what that means to you, brother. No man of his seed shall prosper, sitting on the throne of David, ruling in Judah. Tell me what you think that means to you. All right, I got a few more minutes. I gotta go to sleep in a second here. We'll finish up with that, but just to let you know, what I break. Okay, the meaning of the first 10 names of the Bible in the Gospel Life of Christ. I am a Christian, yeah. Before it was, I was. Daniel states the Messiah must come before the destruction of the second temple occurring in 7 AD. If not him, then... Yeah, no, he's using the same old tired freaking wackadoos. Who would have thought whatever religion could be so emotive? Oh, what's going on? He must be biological descendant of David through Solomon, not through Nathan or Jehoiakim. Oh, dude, you haven't done it. Okay, all right. I don't have... Dale, if you really want to talk about it, I'd love to talk with you about it. It's 1:30 in the morning, and I'd like to get some sleep. If you want to talk about it, we'll talk about it. But yes, there's no zero proof for it. Okay, you gave me a verse, but I disagree with you. I disagree. So okay. So all right. How does Jeremiah 20:23 prove that Jesus is not God? Not the Messiah, I guess. I'm sorry. Okay, let's see what Google has to say. Is used to challenge Jesus Messiah by arguing that a curse on King Jeconiah forbids his biological descendants. Okay, the argument says, write this man down. The Christian response, legal versus biological. Many theologians argue Jesus was not biological descendant of Jeconiah, but a legal one through Joseph. Jesus' biological royal descendant is traced through the Mary through David's son, Nathan, bypassing the curse line. The curse was limited. Some interpretations suggest the curse was temporary or specifically related to immediate descendants, noting that later in Jeremiah 52:31-34, Jeconiah was released from prison and treated with kindness, and Zerubbabel, the descendant of Jeconiah, was promised to be a signet ring in Haggai 2:23. The curse was lifted. Other scholars argued that he repented, leading to the lifting of the curse. So what I'm saying is there is no absolute proof. There's bypasses and ways around the curse, around the bloodline, adoption, a supposed connection through Mary's bloodline back to King David. I don't know what to tell you. You look like XQC. Some people say I look like XQC's dad. All right, good night, my brother. Big John, I know your cousin, Little John. All right, everybody, hugs and kisses. I appreciate y'all being here. I'm gonna get me some sleep. Let me see what the temperature is gonna be in the morning. What's the temperature for tomorrow? Oh, okay, geez. Okay, it's not gonna get below freezing until night. So I gotta take care of the chickens and everything. But it looks like it's not gonna get below freezing until late. All right, so I'll try to do an earlier stream too. I appreciate y'all being here. Dale, Twizzy, Rob, John, Lamb, Bear. Oh yeah, Cloud9. Thank y'all. Everybody else I missed. Ethic. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye bye, guys. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye.